That shit was a pain in the ass.
I can tell.
I'm not quite sure what happened. I hope I reconnected to the correct YouTube account, but
Me too.
we'll see. Because it gave me two options.
I'll check in a couple minutes.
That's fine. I can go get Amanda to check. So how you doing?
I am all right. I'm tired, but I am all right. It feels because we did early the last time, so we went from our shortest time period recording now to our longest time period. And it feels like it's been a long time.
Jesus.
Like since
I don't feel like it's been quite long enough.
I got you. No, but it still feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah. Out of all the days of the week that we can record, I hate Sundays the most.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But you also almost equally hate recording during the week. Like you hate that so much.
I do, just because I don't know. I like my weeknights to do nothing and not have to deal with anything.
See, I like my weekends to do nothing and not have to deal with anything.
I understand that. So, but
like if you look at this like a job that you like, a shitty job that you hate, then I'd rather just get it done during the week.
I got you. Sure. So tonight I brought in something to drink. It's not new, but it's a special edition or special bottle of Tullamore Dew in a nice, pretty ceramic.
That is pretty
bottle.
I'm pretty excited about that.
I got this from McGuire's Irish Pub in Destin, Florida. This week. I bought it Friday actually. So
I'm all about some fancy bottle.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. It says we're live right now, so
that's good. All right.
We'll see.
So a little bit of next week I'm actually excited about. It's a Sunday recording or
Sunday morning early.
Sunday morning early, but it's a Sunday recording I'm not dreading.
Right.
Because I think it's going to be one of the cooler fucking episodes that we've done.
Yep.
And that's going to be, what are we calling it? 3 the hard way?
Something like that. 3 the hard way, 3 the long way. I don't know.
Whatever. But it's us, 3 continent, 4 country episode.
Yep. 5 person.
And that we're hosting. It's our buddies from Juxtaposition Debate out of the UK. One of them is in Glasgow and the other one is in London.
Nope. One is in Edinburgh and one is in
I thought it was in Glasgow.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Regardless. Easy and Andre.
Yeah, Easy and Andre. I don't know why I was thinking Glasgow for whatever.
Then Justin does a podcast, and I think it's called "What Are We Doing Here?"
Yeah, out of Australia.
Yes.
Yep. So housekeeping.
Yeah. Fuck all of these people on this list today.
Right.
CQ. I don't know what he did, but he did some kind of something recently because I saw it. But CQ Pop Culture Warrior Tuesday nights Facebook Live. He did something. I saw him posted on Facebook. I was like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
No. Two Brothers podcast with Troy and Trevor, and I believe a week ago you did a little call in with them.
They called me.
Or they called you, but they reached out to you and asked, could they call you, right?
Yeah.
So they called you.
I gave some deep insight.
I know. I need to go. I still need to go back and listen to that and see.
Well, it's funny. I don't know who all was on there other than Troy and Trevor. If there's somebody else on there at the time,
I don't think there was.
Because he was like, I told you. Because he said, I heard him when I was clicking over. Like, man, he's gonna cuss a lot. He's gonna cuss a lot. And, obviously,
that's what he said. Well, he gave us a shout out at the end of their show that said, "You need to listen to these two guys. They're funny." And he said, they're white. They're white boy funny is what he said. And he's like, but your ears are gonna bleed now. They're gonna say some things. So, Troy and Trevor, the Two Brothers podcast, they do Saturday mornings, and then Trevor does his own podcast multiple times during the week. The Trevor Jackson podcast, Redneck News Entertainment, and the Redneck Review podcast. The Andy.
I feel like we could take them off that list.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I just feel like it.
All right. Whatever. Whatever. They're one of a handful. I'm one less than a handful that had us on their show. So I like that.
Yeah, but answer honestly, would you want to go back on?
I think I would go back on their show. Yeah,
anything
to make fun of Quint.
Right, but you were so pissy by the end of that show because it started late because of technical issues.
No,
you were in a shit mood most of that show. You were fucking irritated when it started.
I know what it was. Is I was very tired because of when it was, but it had nothing to do with being late.
No, you were irritated with how late it was starting. They kept having issues. You absolutely were.
No, I absolutely wasn't. I was irritated because we were both trying to tell them how to fix the problem, and they wouldn't listen. That's irritating. It had nothing to do with being late. It was like, here's your problem.
Okay.
Fix it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they would do the same thing.
Yeah, but the difference is I just gave up and let them decide to do what they wanted to do, but you kept trying to help.
Yeah.
Like, why not just fucking leave it alone? Let them figure it out.
I'm a helper, man. I'm a giver.
What do you mean
to say?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's drink this and then we'll get to it.
All right. Cheers.
That's Tully.
It's Tully.
So anyway,
I think it tastes better out of the porcelain.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's been a while since I've had Tully. I don't know, but it's very good. It's better than the Slane we drank.
Oh yeah, I like it better than
So, but anyway,
next
yeah.
week though, 4-hour 3-continent podcast.
Mhm.
It's going to be at 7 a.m. Eastern for us, so it's going to be early.
Yeah. Anybody in Central Time or what Mountain Time and
But I'd
Pacific,
highly-
that's very early
Yeah,
for you.
fuck the Pacific time people, but
Yeah.
you know, Central, like there's no excuse. You can get up a little bit earlier. And be
Sure.
average. So, but we're drinking. I know we talked mimosas,
We did.
but I was thinking, what's a way more B3F alcoholic beverage to have early on a fucking Sunday morning?
Bloody Marys.
Tequila Sunrise is my bitch.
That's not bad, actually.
So grab
It's
some.
Father's
So
Day,
if
so
you
why
want to
can't you
drink
drink hard liquor in the morning?
Right. So if you're going to be drinking with us, grab you some tequila, grab you some
Grab some
orange
Sunrise.
juice. Yeah, grab some Sunrise and grab a little grenadine because it's going to be a good goddamn morning.
Yeah. So I had
Which I'm bringing in the Dos Amigos.
Oh, are you?
for that,
Okay.
When it's some good fucking tequila
Okay.
Sunrise. Oh, go ahead.
Good.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I had, speaking of drinks, whatever, like drink a lot of margaritas this past week because I was on
Mhm.
vacation, and there's this shack bar at the end of the street that we stay on, and it's called Camille's. And they have a restaurant above, but the little shack bar downstairs stops serving at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Which is interesting to me. They're literally across the street from the beach. Like,
Right.
if I own that place, the police would have to pull up and make me close it at
Right.
a certain time, because I don't know, you're just giving money away. And especially when the bartenders at the bar that we're going there to get drinks from or saying, we asked, what's the deal with the restaurant? And they had a big sign that says sushi on the restaurant or the window or whatever. And they're like, well, you have to get there by going around in the parking garage and go up. But I wouldn't recommend eating there, is what the people that work for this place said. And I'm thinking, well, if it's not very good, why aren't you at least keeping the bar open? But even if it was good, if you're eating at a bar, if you're at the beach, you're on vacation, if you're eating upstairs, you get down, I'd say at least 50% of the people will have another drink down at the bar when they come downstairs.
Okay.
I would say. But you're really leaving a lot of money on the table closing down at 5 p.m.
Right.
I don't know. That's my thing. But they have a drink called the Bushwhacker that's like a chocolate milkshake with alcohol in it. And I don't like chocolate milkshakes. I didn't know what to expect with it. I just heard it was pretty good. So I had it, and it was really good, actually.
I don't like that shit. There's another thing that you had the adult chocolate milk that they
No.
in a bottle. I imagine it tastes.
I don't care for chocolate milk anyway.
Right,
I don't
but
like chocolate milkshakes.
Right. It's
right.
the same principle though.
Sure.
It tastes okay. It's just way too fucking sweet for me. I'm not big on the sweet shit.
So it had rum in it or whatever, and something else I can't remember. So it knocked out some of the sweetness of it. But when I'm on vacation, I can drink just about anything you stick in front of me.
Right.
But it was okay. I had one throughout the week with a lot of margaritas.
But even being on vacation and drinking, I'm still not going to drink shit that I like. You know what I mean?
I do too, but I'd never had it. I don't know if I'd like it or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving that way with margaritas. Like with a salty ass lunch, I can do it. But otherwise, just have them by themselves is too fucking sweet. Fuck that.
Oh, that's I don't know. It's something. These just weren't extremely sweet. They were a good margarita, but whatever. So, but who cares? I mean, at that point in the day when you're drinking margaritas, you're just drinking.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Anyway,
so how was the vacation?
It was good. It was very good. Had multiple things happen on vacation. I can't go into detail. I can't go into any part of one thing because it's not everyone that will find out about it knows about it. They will find out tomorrow. So it will affect people directly, somewhat adjacent to our podcast. So if I said it, it could get out tonight, and that's not good. Somebody in the family came out to, I don't know how many. I know it started out coming out to just one of my kids. It was my wife. No. But then I think by the end of the trip, multiple people. This person had come out to multiple people. So that was an interesting one.
I was really hoping Olivia was pregnant. Not even gonna lie.
Were you? Oh no. No, I don't think. I don't think so. Hope not. But whatever. Yeah, that's about it. Played a lot of cornhole. Did a lot of drinking. Went out on a boat for the day. Had a good time. A lot of sun.
Damn.
You can tell the dogs
just wreck some shit.
Well, the dogs just came back home today. So They're a little crazy, but other than that, I had a pretty good time.
All right.
So
Good for you.
yeah, won a lot of money playing cornhole.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Oh, you guys play for money?
We do everything for money on vacation. It's everything's all right. $5 a game. What you're playing putt golf, and I'm looking at my wheel. I'm going, we playing $5 a hole. He's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, he was like, let's just play $1 a hole, and we'll, keep. So whatever. We gamble on everything when we're on vacation.
Well, that's good.
Just God likes gamblers.
Yeah, right. Does your dad join in on the gambling? Okay, well there you go.
He does. He believes that if your family's taken care of and all your bills are paid and you're tithing to the church and all that what's the difference in that and spending $100 for a game of golf?
Right. I find it interesting though.
It's a very logical way to look at it.
It is a very logical way to look at it, but I don't know. I find it very interesting how Christian people with their different hangups in different areas excuse others that are considered by it's very it makes no sense. That's a very logical way to look at it. But when you say, well, that's not, or that's okay, but X, Y, and Z aren't, and I'm not talking about your dad specifically,
I got
just the Christians in general, it amazes me.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
The way, you can condemn living with someone before you're married, or condemn gambling, and then don't speak to me though when you see me at the liquor store.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I don't know. Or they'll be anti everything except fucking like half the Baptists, they fucking smoke.
Oh yeah,
your body's a temple. But that only is for pornography and gambling and alcohol. But fucking smoking and being fat as fuck is completely okay.
Yeah. It's won't slap your wife around a little bit if she keeps her mouth open too long.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. But what could I say? A lot of weed smoked on my vacation this year.
Yeah.
Only a few people, but a lot of it got smoked.
Yeah.
And it's always funny because they try to slip off, or one of them waits until everyone else basically has gone to bed.
Right.
One of them just slips around to the front of the house and he smokes the loudest weed, like I could smell it in his suitcase in 2 Ziploc bags when we got there.
Yeah.
Like I walked by his room and I was like, dude, you got to put that shit outside. He's like, there's no way you smell this. I said, I could probably find it. I can smell it.
People that smoke weed don't realize how much they smell like weed. Which
he didn't smell like it. It was literally coming from the bag.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. General, he does. And your breath smells like it. And, yeah. And then Matthew,
your dad doesn't have any issue with that either.
He doesn't like it, but it's one of those things where it's like he doesn't like us drinking, and that's not religion based. That's a strange thing. It's because of what he grew up with. But weed is. He doesn't like it at all, and no one does it in front of him.
Okay,
they slip off or wait till he's
that's
gone
a respect
to bed.
thing.
It is. Yeah.
Which I get.
So yeah, but
it's the same reason I don't cuss around my parents much. My dad more than my mom, but
my mom more than my dad.
Yeah, my mom or my grandmother. I don't cuss in front of them at all.
I saw my mom while on vacation with my dad.
Yeah, you were saying that on another episode.
We went and spent about an hour to an hour and a half. Met her down at the beach. And sat there for about an hour to an hour and a half. Me, Matthew and Olivia, my sister, my brother, and his girlfriend. And my sister took her kids, and that we sat down there because it was my mom and her husband and my 2 nephews that go everywhere.
Fucking people in one place. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like you say, like I would prefer that be that many strangers than that many family members.
I got you.
But regardless, fuck being around that many people for a week. No. Because you guys do a lot of shit together during that time. Not that you don't have individual time, but you guys have a lot of together time when you're doing things.
Yeah, we really don't make a ton of plans as a family. Like as far as like we basically just people come and go to the beaches they please. There's a pool and hot tub at the house,
right?
And everybody's just kind of in and out and whatever. And hey, everyone. We're going to start dinner probably around 6 or 7.
Right.
And that's really it. One night when we went to play putt golf, it was,
is dinner kind of one of those pseudo mandatory? Mandatory is the wrong word. Strong.
No. Cause if you're out doing something or you just, if we had decided me and my wife and 3 kids were going to go out to dinner that night, no problem whatsoever. Okay. Yeah. It's a very come and go as you please thing. Used to when we did vacation, we planned things like this night, we're all going to go out to eat together. This night we're all going to go like to the track and do go-karts and stuff like that. Right. This day the ones that want to are going to go play golf or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of planning. And when we just took a trip and just said, let's not make any plans this year, we'll just kind of do our thing, it worked so much better. Everybody got along better because
Right.
you weren't rushing to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, when we went to play putt-putt one night, we had talked all week about maybe we'll go play putt-putt one night. Maybe we won't. We'll just see. And it was just like, let's go. And me, one of my brothers, one of my sisters, and a few of the kids went.
Yeah.
And
I think that would be my biggest thing, is just being like, if it was all adults, with the family,
Sure.
I could understand a little bit, but I couldn't be around that many fucking kids. Like, that's what kills me about going home more than anything. Seeing my family is like, and it's only what, my sister's 3, that's 5 kids, and that's fucking 5 too many.
Yeah.
Like, it's the worst.
Sure,
And kids on vacation is even fucking more terrible than not. Like, I hate kids on vacation. Fuck that.
I just, if they start acting crazy, I just tell, like, my sister's oldest, who is 4, and then Will's youngest, who is 7, they were playing. You know how kids do, they play for so long, and then they get tired, and they get tired of each other.
Yeah.
And they're arguing. It's one of those things that I heard them slamming the door in each other's face and stuff. And I just walked in the room. It was like, your dad's not here, so I'm in charge of you. And your dad is asleep with your little sister right now. And your mom's not here. I'm in charge of you. And if you guys don't cut this crap out, you're both going to take a nap. And one of them said, no. And I said, just try it and see. I'm in the next room. If I hear another door slam or another person fuss, you're taking a nap.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
Oh man, but that no for me would have been like, all right, congratulations, it's a fucking nap for you.
Well, it was the tone of it. If it had been a hands on the hips, like, no, then that would have been like, well, let's see. Hop up in that bed and go to sleep, or whatever. But it was more of a scared no.
But it's to me, it's not so much the kids being crazy.
Sure.
It's just it's the noise. No, it's the noise.
Oh, it's
that
absolutely
comes with kids. Like, fuck that.
I
can't handle it.
It was very quiet Friday during the day. So our last day there, it was very quiet during the day, and I didn't want to do anything. So I just put a movie on, and I knew that if my dad came in and saw it, he would like that movie, and I knew other people would like it. I put it on, and it was like a magnet. As soon as I hit play and the movie gets going pretty good, people just start coming in and talking or whatever. And I just said
that even more.
I just turned the TV up as loud as I could get it. And people eventually start to move outside or other areas or whatever, but it's just what it is.
Oh, fuck that.
You have to,
fuck that.
But that's the thing, going on vacation like this, that there's going to be times that you're just not going to be able to watch a movie if you want to.
It's not even,
and for me, I could have just went up to my bedroom. And
but see, it's not even like, the kids are inherently noisy, and that pisses me off to begin with.
Sure.
But then when you get a bunch of adults together, they're loud as fuck. It's even fucking.
It's a big family. My family all talks over each other and has multiple conversations going on at the same time.
And I cannot stand that. Like, for me,
that's how my family works.
No, I get that. Well, my family gets like that when everybody's fucking together. It's stupid. But that's why for me, a vacation is I'm by my fucking self with the wife. I can do what the fuck I want to do, and I can actually relax. And if I want to do something crazy, be it a bar, be it a club, whatever, I can consciously go into that and then leave.
No, I get it.
I'm not embedded in it for a week fucking
And that's
straight.
why I have 2 different versions of vacation. I have family vacation, and I just know that's how it's going to be.
Right.
And I participate in it, and sometimes I'm tired and I don't, but whatever. And then there's vacation where maybe me, because all my kids are adults now. So it's me and Kristen, the kids may go somewhere, or me and Kristen may go somewhere.
Right.
So, it's different tiers. So but also things like that, when I know that's the environment that it's going to happen, and it's kind of supposed to happen in this environment or whatever, that's the part of me that I can turn off that you don't quite have that.
No, because see, I can go into it knowing, and I can think, okay, I'll be all right for a little bit. And then it always ends up being way fucking worse.
Yeah.
But I think that's just part of, oh no, man. I have a billion different reasons for it. All of them sound stupid, but what it boils down to, it's like having, if you just had headphones on and had fucking static white noise and just turn that shit up to 11. It's just like a grating. I want to murder. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And so it's not even so much I give you shit about wanting to hang out with your family, but it's not so much the spending time with the family as much as it is the fucking noise that comes with that.
Yeah.
Cause I can go hang out with my sister. Totally fine. My grandmother by itself. I mean, it's whatever, but it's fine. My parents by themselves. Fine. All the fucking kids and everybody together. Fuck that shit. I would rather goddamn drive off a bridge. I get it. It's fucking awful.
It just doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
Just doesn't.
Yeah.
But I've always had that going on, because we've always, me and 4 other siblings.
Right.
Now multiple of us have kids. It's just always been big family, lots of talking going on. You know, we can have 3 conversations going at the same time.
Right.
And
But I mean, I had that growing up until because we always had big family get-togethers once a year, and everybody was there.
Oh, yeah, but see, because I have so many siblings, it was always big family stuff.
Right.
Not just the family get-togethers.
No, I got you.
There's always a lot of us.
Right. And then for me too, though, whatever. And then, but after I think part of it was after I left and was gone by myself for a good, fucking 15 years, then it was like, I just coming back into it. I was like, no, fuck this shit. This is fucking garbage. But
yeah, I don't know. I had a pretty good time overall.
Well, good.
Got some sun a couple days, got a little burnt here and there.
Yeah. I didn't miss you.
Good, because I didn't miss you either.
I would have
just multiple times during the Sunday. So we drive down on Saturday, and Sunday I'm just sitting there in the evening, probably playing cornhole or whatever. We're sitting, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta go write the podcast description and all that shit." And then I was like, "Nope, did that did that the other night,
dude. I still didn't mix that podcast till Sunday night.
I kind of figured that's what would happen, and so we recorded it on Wednesday. I think Thursday night.
Yeah,
you texted me. Was it Thursday or Friday? I can't remember. But I did it 2 or 3 days earlier than normal, and every once in a while I would just open it up and just see. It's like, well, maybe he'll take advantage of this and have all weekend not to deal with it.
No, I have a couple times. Not. Well, I ended up going to Memphis.
Sure.
Wednesday, Thursday.
No, you were here Wednesday night. We record. Oh no. I'm sorry. I lost that week. Off. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Wednesday, Thursday, I was in fucking Memphis working, and then so I get back like 1 a.m. on Thursday night and still worked all day Saturday, and I came back Friday night and I was like, "Fuck this," and then
well, you're a week off then.
Oh no, yeah, I am a week off. Yeah, that was this past week.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know what the fuck I did last week then.
Yeah, we recorded on Wednesday.
Yeah, I remember recording on Wednesday.
Yep. And Sunday you uploaded it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, fuck whatever, man.
Because I didn't want to have to deal while they're knowing there's probably gonna be shitty internet service.
This week I was on Wednesday. Yeah.
trying to upload the video and everything.
Yeah.
So I just did it all ahead of time and let it get over.
Did I have the kids last weekend?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. No, I did end up driving to fucking Huntsville for a meeting for like 2 hours and then came the fuck back. Yeah. But that still doesn't make sense why I didn't do it Thursday or Friday. I just don't fucking know why I didn't. But I was thinking about throwing Logic on my work computer and just porting all my plugins over so I could do that shit at work. And but
why not?
Yeah, it's because we've been fucking slammed at work.
Yeah, I got you.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Like this is the most. If I was listening to this episode right now, I'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is the worst episode.
I think people like the eavesdropping on two.
I don't think people like listening to you talk about things.
Maybe they don't.
just because of the length of time it takes you to get from A to B.
Maybe if you didn't interrupt me.
That's true. Well, that's part of the fun is interrupting.
I know. This trip solidified that I absolutely loathe Chattanooga and Birmingham.
Yeah, fuck both of those.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people either, in my experience, hate Chattanooga or love it. It's one of the greatest. Right. They go like every weekend. Oh, we're going to Chattanooga because they have outdoorsy shit. I'm like, we have outdoorsy shit. Why the fuck would you put yourself through that bullshit?
Hearing someone say, "Oh man, I absolutely love Chattanooga," it's like it's kind of like makes you kind of like I don't understand. It's like saying, "I love our government. I think they do a great job." I'm like, right? Well, how does that work?
Well, honestly, if somebody says they love Chattanooga, I lose a little respect for them as a person, like immediately. I'm like, oh, then your opinions on almost anything else is probably fucking wrong.
Right.
I think that's how I look at some of that shit. The things that are almost inarguably terrible.
Sure.
Inarguably. The way the quality of our current state of government, not even talking about the president, but I mean for the last, let's say decade.
Sure.
The effectiveness and how great the government's been over the last decade,
21st, let's say 21st century.
Right. Let's say 21st century. Sure. And people are like, I really support the government and think at least when the Republicans are in, they do a great job. I'm like, I don't know if the rest of your opinions are going to mean that much.
Right.
And that's on part of somebody saying, I love fucking Chattanooga. I love Birmingham. I love Friends, like all those things. I'm like, I don't know how much I respect you anymore.
You don't like Friends?
I just threw that in.
I know you did.
No, I used to. And when I rewatched it last time, I was like, no, fuck this show.
Gotcha.
I hated it so much. I just found everybody incredibly unlikable. Everyone.
Sure. I got you.
And I think it's just because now I'm not in that age demographic. Like I'm older and I'm like, you fucking bunch of bitches. Fuck these guys.
You're probably closer to the age of the characters than you were when you originally watched it, though.
For sure. But then
Yeah.
it's more of a, they're the cool New York,
Sure.
blah, 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 blah. But I mean, some of the humor's still great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Some of the jokes still land hard. Just as it's kind of like when I went back and rewatched the Gilmore Girls, which used to be one of my favorite shows. I was like, there's a couple cunts. Like, they're so unlikable. And at a time when your life, I think it kind of does ties into how much life kicks your ass along the way too.
Sure.
Because then it's looking back and you're like, and I know it's fake, it's TV, but I'm like, these guys, fuck these guys. It's the worst.
Ross is the worst. Ross is the one.
God.
Ross annoys the shit out of me, and I hate the theory that the show is about Ross.
No, it kind of was though.
I mean, sure. But I can't imagine anybody wants to make a show about the whiniest, bitchiest guy in the world.
Right. But it follows Scrubs is such a great fucking show.
I was just going to ask you, is there any show that you loved when it was on and that
Scrubs is still
you've gone back and you still love?
Yeah, Scrubs is one. Honestly, I didn't like Seinfeld as much when it was first out, and I like it much, much more now, like rewatching it.
Well, we were very young. I mean, I say very young, early to mid.
But I was late to the Seinfeld camp, right? And a lot of times because I didn't like Jerry Seinfeld as a stand-up comedian, and so I was like, I don't care about the show, and I watched a couple episodes, and I was like, nah, it's all right. But I was into way different shit, and then as that's held up better, and then I found Curb, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, Scrubs still holds up. I think there aren't a ton of old shows that I remember because I didn't watch a fuck ton of TV back in the day.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit I started watching when I was like still younger, like after Netflix first started streaming. You could get a lot of Hulu and shit. You could watch a lot of stuff. But
yeah, I remember Seinfeld, like one of the first streaming platforms. It was almost Crackle.
Yeah.
Like that was their big thing. Like we got Seinfeld, which was interesting. But
speaking of TV, the best Father's Day present any man could ask for next fucking Sunday, June 20th, fucking season 5 of fucking Rick and Morty. I'm so excited.
I knew it was coming soon, but I didn't know if it was yet.
Fucking Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. It's the best thing I could ask for Father's Day. Not having to have the kids and
why is it you don't have the kids on Father's Day? Did you say I don't want to have them on Father's Day? Because I would think most other people would say, so the kids will be coming to your house on Father's Day and just.
Well, honestly, it's not because it's so how it works in the rotation of me getting them. They're going to the beach this week, and they're not going to be back to like Friday night. It's not worth going for like a day and bringing it back. Okay. And with the podcast Sunday, I didn't want to spend the weekend there.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't give a shit about Father's Day. I think it's fucking stupid. But
yeah, it is a made up.
It's holiday. The same reason that Mother's Day is fucking stupid.
Sure.
But it's like, congratulations. Let's celebrate something that everybody in the history of the fucking world has done. Good job.
Are you getting anything for Father's Day?
I don't fucking know. Probably not.
Nah, I'm sure you'll get something.
No, not usually.
Blowjob or something.
Yeah, no, nothing to do with it.
You guys don't get each other Father's Day or Mother's Day presents?
Not usually, no. Like, I'll get Amanda something or do like take her to dinner or some shit, but not really.
That's a present.
Yeah. But I mean, I care less about that shit than most people do. So I don't fucking care about it.
I never expected I'm going to get anything, but I actually am getting something this year. I just found out the other day because I was trying to get myself one already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting an Apple Watch.
Okay.
Yeah. So
finally joining the cult.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm Apple everything else. I might as well
get
one.
They're fucking amazing. Like they really are.
So
I got out of the habit of wearing mine and I feel shitty about it because I'm still paying $10 a month for cellular service on it. It's $10, man.
I understand that.
But you look at that,
it is $10
over a year. Yeah.
What does it just sit there? What model is it?
It's a 4.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, 4. And I had it with cell service because when I was working with a company, Prattis, I didn't have to carry 2 phones. I had my work phone and then I could have text and all that shit if the wife needed a hold of me.
I get it.
And then I loved it for gym and shit. And then when I started this job, I just didn't need a fucking watch. And so I haven't worn it. And when I travel, I charge it and put it on usually, but I just haven't even traveled that much. So I need to get back in the habit because I've been slowly getting my ass back in the gym and it's pretty good for that shit.
Well, Gabe doesn't want doesn't care for it. It's a 4 but he was looking at some watches in Fossil. He and I both like watches, but he was looking at some watches like, so he had said something to me before. It was like, I'll say my 4 or whatever. I don't want it anymore. I was like, all right. So he's looking at a couple watches in Fossil and I said, you find something you want? He's like, yeah, but I don't know. I want to get one.
Apple watches are so much better than the Fossil watches. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it just depends on what your style is.
They're not as aesthetically
pleasing. Yeah. It just depends on what your style is. And like depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing, I prefer a regular watch, but for everyday life, I want an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I believe that every dude should have like one nice watch to wear with like a suit and shit like that. You know what I mean? But then fucking every
I love watches. I have multiples.
Yeah. I own an Apple Watch. That's it. I haven't owned a watch. Well, I take that back. I have a nice fucking like expensive ass Nixon watch that it's heavy as fuck, and I just never wear it.
Yeah.
Because I never dress up for anything almost ever.
Well, I told Gabe, I was like, I will buy you the Apple Watches the Fossil watches that you want. You just give me that Apple Watch. And my wife was standing there. She was like, don't do that. I was like, why? I want an Apple Watch. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Really 3 birds with 1 stone, because he's getting the watch he wants. I'm getting the watch I want, and you want to spend money on the kids for what they want. So now we're all being pleased here. Right. And she says, we were all getting you an Apple Watch for Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I didn't know that. I said, well, good. Even better for me, because we take that one, you go trade it in, and that's cash that doesn't come out of our pocket.
Right.
So I'm happy now.
There you go.
So we'll see. I don't know. She had me build what I wanted today online, so she could either go to the store and order it or whatever. So,
are you getting the cell service on it? Nice. It's way better. Like it's almost not worth it without it. Like paying monthly for cell service sucks, but it's worth it.
I just can't imagine that I'm never going to have my phone on me.
Right.
Is the thing. So, and I think about that. I'm like, well, do I need the cell service on it, or do I not, or whatever? But I'm like,
I feel like you get more out of it.
Maybe.
As a whole.
Sure.
Because then if you have decent cell phone service and you need to go out and do shit in the warehouse, wherever you're working, whatever, you can fucking keep your phone in your desk and just go out and not worry about it, because you got it right there. And you have a couple different ways to text on it. And so you don't have to do the fucking voice to text, even though that works pretty well.
So how does, God, this is really boring for people.
I said it to begin with.
Yeah. I was going to say,
sorry, people watching.
No, I was going to ask you about something else about Apple Watch, but it's fine. We can talk about it later.
They're great.
Yeah, no, there's something else I was going to ask
I honestly, when I got one, I liked it much better than I thought I would. Like, I thought they're cool because, I love fucking tech. I love getting shit like that. Even if I'm never going to fucking use it, I fucking love it.
Yeah. It's fun to play with.
Yeah. It's kind of like getting a new dick. You're like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then you get tired of that dick, and then you just get another dick.
Will we get new dicks?
Yeah.
I've had the same dick for 40 years.
Right.
Still looks like a baby.
I just said it's like getting a new dick.
Oh,
like if you got a new dick,
I can't have nothing.
If you got a new dick and you could have all the same thing, but you could change size, aesthetics, whatever. It's like, oh shit.
If you could get things installed in, here we go. Here's where we thrive. If you could get shit installed in your dick.
Okay.
Vibrate function, pulsating, jackhammer, whatever. Would you do that? Would you get the vibrate function installed?
Maybe. I'd think about it. I don't know. Because I do okay. I do okay with what I got now.
I get it.
But if I could upgrade,
there's always better.
Right. If I could upgrade the functionality, because I'm assuming you could turn it off. It's not going to be just some random turn on. Like,
oh,
right?
yeah,
it's
Actually,
full control.
It's remote control. Yeah.
Control from the Apple Watch?
That, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
If you give your significant other, wife, whatever, the remote for it, just as soon as you get ready to start no. This is how you find out if you're really good at what you're doing or not. Because if it starts vibrating, she needs a little more.
Okay, that's fair. Well, she might need a little more. It might just be some extra funsies in that moment.
Okay, but that just still means you're not providing everything she needs right then.
I would disagree.
Okay,
I would disagree.
I feel like I don't know. And I'll keep my mouth shut on that in the interest of sexism. No, just kidding.
No, because I guess I'm curious about that, because to me, a lot of guys don't like women bringing a toy into the bedroom because they don't feel like they're providing enough or giving enough for a woman's not.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
But see, I would disagree, because I think different moments, like there's different things that sound good. And it's not that one's not enough. It's kind of like, this cherry pie is fucking awesome. I love it. I also happen to have whipped cream. I won't like it anymore with whipped cream, but whipped cream fucking sounds good right now. Yeah, and so, know,
it's different. Yeah,
it's not
different tastes at different times. I get it. Yeah, I don't give a shit if you want to bring something into the bedroom.
Yeah, no, I just think it's weird because, like, well, just based on what you're saying, as far as it's evidently not enough. It's like, I disagree. If it's just something like, what sounds really awesome in this moment, some buzz.
Yeah, like, okay. But that's what I'm saying. That means that everything else wasn't enough right now.
That's not what that means.
Okay,
because it could be
agree to disagree.
I don't understand. I think you're arguing asshole right now. I'm be an asshole.
No, I'm not. I mean, to go to your cherry pie thing. If the cherry pie was enough, and satisfied you in the moment, I don't think you would put the whipped cream on it.
No.
If I have something and I add to it, it's because I don't want it this way. I want it with that added to it.
Yeah. See,
Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, it's like, I love this. I eat this all the time by myself, and there can be whipped cream in the fridge, and I don't give a shit about it. But like in this moment, like this is plenty, but it kind of sounds awesome to throw a little extra on.
Gotcha.
It's not that like I wouldn't be satisfied with just the one. It's just in that moment.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying it's not enough to satisfy. I'm just saying it's not what they want a little more right there.
See, I don't look at it as more. I look at it as
extra,
as different, like changing it up a little bit. Like, oh, this is usually good, great, like this.
Yeah,
this sounds good with a little, you know.
I get it.
Like sprinkling some cinnamon on top of a cup of coffee.
Sure, I got it.
Yeah.
I just think I'm different than that as far as like if I'm adding something to it, it's because I don't want it this way. I want it that way.
Yeah.
Or that way is better.
Yeah. And see, for me, I'll add shit on just because it's fucking there. I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh shit, I have this too. Fuck, put it on. Oh, what about this? Yeah, fucking put it on.
You never ruin something doing that though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't fucking care. It's kind of like we got this Roadcaster.
This cherry pie is great. I love mustard too.
I've played that game because you never know if you're gonna like it or not.
I got you.
But like for instance, as an example,
sure,
we got this Roadcaster, which we didn't need, but it was fucking great. Now the mics we had sounded perfectly fine. They worked perfectly well. There was no need to get these. These really didn't even add that much, but it was like, oh, it was an impulse. Like it'd be fucking
it was
awesome.
More satisfying to you to have these.
Yeah. That's true.
Which is the point I'm making.
Yeah.
It's more satisfying to add the extra.
Okay. I think it's the satisfying, because to me, satisfying is the concept of being satiated, not a term of like enjoyment. It's like, in that moment, I'm enjoying extra.
But it's using you as the example is not a good idea in that.
No, it's never a good example.
No, because you're not ever satiated. You're pleased for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just like, because you'd like to replace these now. You'd like to move these over to the guest chairs.
Yeah.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
That's what you'd like to do. So that's what,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm adding to it, it's because I don't want it the way it is. I'm adding something to it.
That's fair.
Because I can be very satisfied with something as is if I really like it that way, and that's how I want it. But if I don't want it that way, there's no satisfaction.
Yeah.
Now,
okay, that's
just the way it is.
So, do you ever just add things in just as a little extra, or do you always, like, if you upgrade, so to speak, do you want to keep it that way all the fucking time?
When the
like using the like the cherry pie, for instance. Say you fucking love cherry pie just the way it is, and you're like, oh fuck, there's whipped cream, and I'm not happy with how this is. I'm gonna put whipped cream on it. Do you then get the cherry pie with whipped cream every single time the whipped cream is available from there on out?
No, because it depends on it depends on what I want at the time.
Okay.
And if I want it with whipped cream and I can't have it with whipped cream, I am unsatisfied.
Okay.
I can still enjoy the cherry pie, but I'm not satiated, to go back to that word that you used. I still want but there's times if it comes with whipped cream and I don't want whipped cream at the time, I'll tell them, give me the cherry pie minus whipped cream.
Huh. Okay.
And then that's
see, if I don't want the whipped cream, I'll just fucking scrape that shit off.
Oh, if it comes to me with whipped cream, I'll scrape it off.
I change my mind.
And I've done that before too.
Yeah.
I've done that before too. But sometimes when there's something that's really good, but I don't want it completely, but I still want that little experience. Like let's just cherry pie, for instance, great with whipped cream, but I really don't want cherry pie with whipped cream now, but I do want that one bite.
Right.
I may get a small dollop of whipped cream, take that one bite, like, ooh, that's really good, but now I want it without it.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I'm fucked up. So.
See, I don't think it's fucked up. I think we're saying similar things, because to me, I look at satisfied as being not satisfied in a moment, but satisfied with the entire experience. Do you know what I mean? Like I look at it as like a holistic type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you could have your dick vibrating for 5 minutes and then turn it back off.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, even outside of that, I just meant as far as like needing something or wanting something extra, like in my brain, that actually says to make the entire experience satisfying, you need that they need that in that moment. And I would disagree. I would say that maybe that is extra in that moment, but as a whole, if you didn't have it, it would still have the same result. It would just have a different experience along the way.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. At what point does somebody start, speaking of technology and dicks, at what point does somebody start making add-ons for Teslas, like a vibrating dildo that goes in a Tesla and people actually start fucking their cars?
I don't know.
I kind of can't believe it's not happening already.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you done any
anything comes, no, I haven't. It's literally just popped into my head.
Yeah. That means somebody's thought of it and is probably in the process of making it.
Sure.
Well,
Japanese people.
It's
man.
I have that thing now that you can basically have the fleshlight, and
Mhm.
your girlfriend has like the dildo vibrator thing, and you can like
Yes, the
feel each other.
Kiru.
Yeah.
I think.
Which is funny because
I showed my wife that, and she was like, "That something seems strange about that."
See, I told my wife about it. She goes, "That shit would be awesome if you were out of town." I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, fuck
well,
yeah, it
that's
would
what
be."
I said. That's what I was like. Yeah, but imagine if you're out of town. But also, I don't want. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that. I gotta hold that one back. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I got ahead of myself. I was gonna get myself in some trouble. Yeah. No,
Okay.
but yeah, I agree with you. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But those also have
But
those
that
same
came out
ones
of porn
that
is what that came from, is the ability
Sure.
to watch a video and have shit like feeling like you're fucking
Yes.
whoever's on screen.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other option with those things.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I feel like the long
Whatever.
distance thing, but you've got to have somebody that's into doing
Yeah,
shit
sure.
long distance, because
Absolutely.
some women and dudes are not down at that. They're like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's not like comfortable like always, but get a couple times out of the way. And it's like, all right, I got the hang of this.
Sure.
It's not a big deal.
Well, it's not just that though. But I think people feel awkward in that moment.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're. Well, it's like I don't even want to. I was gonna say like the first time you go on stage like to perform or whatever, it's a little awkward. But I think some people, when it comes to sexual things, like that awkward never goes away.
Yeah, well,
it always feels like an acting,
Right.
a performance.
Well, I
bit.
think that's part of fucking the heavy, Victorian Protestant thing, is sex is still such a like a taboo or dirty or not talked about thing for most people. Like there's still, for a lot of, especially women, a lot of like guilt and weird hangups associated with sex. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
later on in their adulthood, and that shit hangs around. Victorian, that's what I was looking for. But did I say Victorian?
I think you did.
Okay. But like, even, I don't know, because women like typically have a weirder time admitting to masturbating regularly than guys do.
Sure.
Because guys like, yeah, we fucking jerk off all the time. It's fucking whatever. And women are like, well, maybe every now and then. Like, no, yeah.
Yeah.
You 90, I would say 90% of women would jerk off on by regular. I mean, that might be monthly.
Somebody should be doing women's masturbation classes.
I think just sexuality classes is what.
Well, sure, but I'm just saying, like, you grow up in the South or you grow up in church or whatever, and it's never like everyone knows guys do it all the time. It's like you're born knowing how to do it. I mean, how many ultrasounds have you seen where the fetus has got their hand on the dick,
Right.
And it sounds bad, and I don't mean it this way. So take the intention in what I'm saying, but because it's so, I don't want to say frowned upon, taboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we don't talk about that, especially with women in the South and churchy and things like that. Like, I think even the experimentation, because I don't know that you can hardly, as strong as a male libido is and the hormones are when you're a teenager, I don't even know that you can fire and brimstone that shit out of a teenage boy.
But you can fill them full of fucking guilt and
shame.
shame.
Yeah, you absolutely can, but they're still going to do it and try it out and things like this is what I'm saying. I think which, I mean, women have, I think, more self-control than most guys when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I think it's easier for the assholes that be to keep women from experimenting, from trying it out, from figuring it out, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and so you end up with women, especially when you get our age and older, that maybe have never even tried it, or maybe tried it once and was like,
felt guilty and shit.
Well, not just guilty, but it's I mean, women are more intricate than men.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
but
blow on a
but
man's
it's
dick and he's gonna come.
Right. But I mean, but if you never find out what you like, I mean, I'm saying, but what keeps them from that is guilt and shame and all that other
We're also
shit.
taught that women are to be sexually pleasing to men, and that's the end where it ends there, which is
that's
fucking
out of
ridiculous.
The church, especially.
It is, yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, but that's, it's one of those things. I mean, I feel like you should teach your kids that shit. Like, like with a daughter, like, she should take the time to figure what she likes before she starts getting sexual partners and not be ashamed to talk about that shit.
Sure.
And vice versa, but guys, it comes naturally. I think even with guys, the self-control, it's not even about that. The fact is, at some point, if you're not jerking off, you're going to have fucking wet dreams. It's just part of it.
Oh yeah.
Or you're going to roll over and rub against the pillow and splooge everywhere. Yeah. And I think after a point, you realize, well, fucking, I'm blowing my shit one way or the other. So I might as well be an active part in this.
Yeah.
Plus it's a lot easier to rub up against your dick than it is a fucking clit.
Sure.
But
absolutely. But I think I heard Dr. Drew say that one time. It's like, if you don't relieve yourself, God's going to do it for you while you're sleeping.
Right. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's the truth.
But it's an embarrassing thing. But again, also, like, women, especially with the church, they're always taught, like, you need to be pure. Purity is what all men want. But after you get married, you better be a fucking freak in them sheets.
Yeah.
And then after the first time they have sex, even the husband, half of them feel guilty or dirty or whatever the fuck else it is. Like, still fucking, there are grown women that don't know they have 3 fucking holes, and that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, but how do you become a grown
Mouth,
woman?
vagina, asshole. Right? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, but that blows my mind. How you become an adult woman and you've never known enough about your own anatomy to realize that you have a urethra, a fucking vagina, and an asshole. Like, you have no idea. You think your fucking baby hole and your piss hole are the same fucking hole.
Absolutely.
That is ridiculous.
There's lots of people that think that.
Which is insane.
It is insane.
And that just shows how great our education system is. But in the South, how many times you heard, I don't want my kid to know sexual education classes because it's just going to put lust in their hearts.
For sure.
I'm like, yeah. And then they're going to grow up and have no idea. Like, dude, as a man, you need to know how to fucking work a clit. Like, that's going to be part of your life one day.
True.
And if you don't know what a clit is or where it is, then you're fucked. It's going to take you a good decade to figure that shit out if you're willing to even fucking learn and haven't got some pig-headed bullshit that it's all about your dick and you don't give a fuck about them. Because newsflash for you younger fellas, if you'll make your lady come on the reg, you're going to get a whole lot more fucking.
That's true.
Yes.
I cracked a joke to tie into this and back to vacation, whatever. I cracked a joke that
I should never shave, by the way. This is fucking terrible.
Either no one heard or they didn't get it. We took a boat out to this thing called Crab Island. It's not an island at all, but people just go out there and there's
implications.
Yeah. What happens there sometimes follows you back, but no, they have these boats like where you can buy burgers or whatever. And then they have sell floats or whatever, but it's like waist deep water and everybody just goes out there and drinks and swims and jet skis and boats and whatever. Right. Anyway, these people like put around these little boats and they'll have like a cooler with ice cream in it or whatever. And there's this man that kept putting around on this boat or whatever. And somebody was like, man, I want ice cream. Where's that little man in the boat? And I said, he's very hard to find. And no one picked up on it. Yeah. No one got
That's
it.
Why you miss me sometimes.
I did. It's exactly how I was like, he would have laughed at that. So anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, but there are so many sexual hangups, and most of them are caused by, the church or just, that old school, especially in the South. I feel like that a lot of, I don't know, like more liberal areas are much better with, sometimes to the extreme, but are still much better with the sexual confidence that I feel like that. Like, I talked to my daughter about fucking masturbation the other day.
Oh yeah.
And well, my whole thing is with her, she's going to have questions that are going to be better answered by a female, but she'll, in my opinion, she still shouldn't be. And she's going to be, but I want to try to alleviate that as much as possible where she doesn't feel embarrassed asking me a question.
Sure.
I want to normalize it to not be this embarrassing, fucking terrible thing. And so, like, I had a little bit of just the general talk because my ex-wife supposedly did. And then I was asking, then she asked me some question and I was like, what do you know about sex? She was like, almost nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, so what kind of talk did you get? She goes, I was about getting my period. And I was like, anything about sex? She was like, no. I said, do you have questions? She goes, yeah. I said, you want to talk about it? And she goes, yeah. I said, all right. And I said, you're going to feel awkward, but it's fine. And then I had a general conversation with her.
You say, well, your mom likes to go up and down, but Amanda likes to go in circles.
No, I mean, it was a base 10, or 12-year-old girl talk. And I got you. At that, I didn't go into tune like Eli. I had, 2 talks with him. One is the base level when they're younger, and then the 2.0 talk when you get older. But it's like, fuck, man. But it upsets me when, I shouldn't say upsets me, it pisses me off a little bit when people don't have information. Like, to me, if a kid's old enough to ask a question, they're old enough to have an answer. And you have to answer it maybe on their level, but that doesn't mean you don't give them the answer.
Yeah.
Because if they're obviously have it in their brain, a lot of people think, well, if I explain sex to my kid too young, they're going to want to have sex and get into this. Like, no, they have information based on how they can understand things. Like, I'm not going to get into how fucking blowing a load works with my, fucking 12-year-old, but when she's a little older, if she has questions, she needs to know that every dude she hangs out with wants to fuck her. She has to know that. That's like, and because a lot of girls at that age, they have no idea. They think the guys just like them when they want attention or they're sweet. Like, no, every one of those motherfuckers wants to put their dick in you. You don't need to be that naive going into adulthood, but you don't tell a fucking 10-year-old that when you get older in about 5 years, every dick's going to want to be inside of you. That's not how that conversation should go.
No, absolutely. When I was young, probably about 10, my mom had,
he said, let me show you how you fuck.
My mom had the sex, because somebody must have ordered some food. My mom had the sex talk with me at approximately 10, and my sister, who is 4 years younger than me. My brother was not, who's 6 years younger than me. He was not involved in that. But it feels weird, like you're gonna spill it or something, doesn't it? When you pour out of that, it feels strange to me. But anyway, but she drew it out in pictures. She drew a vagina and all that stuff out. It was like, this is this and this is that and this is what that does. At too young of an age.
Yeah.
But my mom also walked around butt ass naked a lot when we were very young, up until, and I understand at some point in a kid's age, like some kids just take showers with their parents because you're getting in the shower like when they're very young or whatever. But then at I was probably in my mid-teens.
Yeah.
And my mom was still walking around the house completely naked.
Yeah, but you know what? That sounds
just weird, man.
Well, I think it's weird in our culture, especially. But I mean, we also hypersexualize fucking everything, So it's super weird now to see your mom naked. I mean, as a kid, for sure, like in American society, absolutely. But like seeing boobs is even a huge deal. Like, oh, you're only 13, sure. You don't need to see what boobs look like. I'm like, why? Because you're hypersexualizing the fuck out of titty. Now, don't get me wrong. Titties are awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody loves titties. It's a biological thing for a man to love titties.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean they need to be like every time you see a set of boobs, you got a fucking boner and want to fuck it. I don't see a problem with normalizing that. No, I still think it's fucking weird. I'm not justifying the walk around naked.
It's just weird. It's just strange, but whatever. Whatever. I don't care.
Well, I had one time I remember telling or somebody talking to me like, I don't understand the whole like stepsister, stepmom fantasy. Like that's really gross to me. I'm like, really? Like it's never been a fantasy of mine.
Was that a male or a female that said that?
It was a male. Yeah.
I have 3 letters for you.
What?
G-A-Y.
Right. No, it's I've had both. I've had the conversation with more than one person like this, and females seem especially perplexed by it. And I'm like, no, because listen, you're not related by blood. And the brother and sister is what fucks up with most people when they hear that. But it's the step is the key there, because for most dudes, if that's an actual thing and you're 16, 17 years old, it's a live-in fuck buddy. That's all it is.
It can be for sure.
No, that's what I'm saying, not automatically, but I mean, that's the fantasy.
Sure.
It's like I have somebody I can have sex with that I'm not related to that lives with me.
Yeah.
I gotta say, how do you not understand how that's an appealing thing, especially as like 16 years old when you're never having sex, except maybe if you get really lucky and you still have no business in having sex?
I can remember at one point, because both of my parents remarried. Now, my dad remarried when I was very young. I say young,
right?
8.
Yeah.
No, younger than that. 6. Anyway. So it's always been like my mom there. So I never had that thing. Right. But then my mom married later. And like one of my stepsisters when she was young was hot when she was young. Right. And I can remember one point my mom or my stepdad once saying, hey, will you go tell her that dinner's ready? And so like, I think she's in the shower. Now, where the way the bathroom door is, you can't see the shower.
Right.
So in their mind, he can just walk up to the door, hey, dinner's ready, and then leave.
Right.
Well, there's a curtain that went across that bathroom door or whatever. And as I got to the curtain, she stepped out of the shower, and I went, this better not awaken anything.
That's the community quote.
It is a community quote, but that's exactly what it was like. Oof, this better not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, it's but I mean, I think it's also a little different and I think this person might have had step siblings. I don't know for sure from the time that they were like babies almost and grew up together. It's like, okay, but then that's a little more of a sibling mindset.
Absolutely.
And I get that grossness, but say your parents get remarried and like you're 16, she's 18 or 16, whatever the fuck, but you're the same.
You're 16, she's 18. That's a dream.
Right. But I'm just saying, so you guys are the same age.
Sure.
You're like, she's fucking hot. She likes you and you're in the same house suddenly living together. It's not fucking weird, man. That's fucking biology.
For sure. And she probably doesn't like you. She's probably just using you. If you're 16 and she's 18.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's just she's just getting her clit licked.
It's sex education at that point.
Speaking of, the other night, me, my 2 brother-in-laws and Will were headed to McGuire's. We're just driving down the road, and I'm driving. It's me, my brother-in-law, Will, and my other brother-in-law behind me, and we're just cruising down the strip headed to McGuire's, and this Lincoln Continental, this huge SUV, not Continental, but this big SUV, starts to go by us, and it's going by slow, and all the windows down, and it's like 4 girls are hanging out of the windows, and they're going, "Hey," like just yelling. But they go on by, but they're yelling at us, like, going by. And Will immediately, I mean, just immediately was like, "Well, hey," and he's trying to yell back at him, whatever. And we're cracking up, we're laughing. And my brother-in-law sitting behind me is like, "Will, you don't want none of that. Those girls were way too young." He's like, "What's too young?" I said, Will, anything younger than 25 is too young for you. And he's almost 40.
Yeah.
I said, anything younger than 25 is too young for you. And,
not by long.
And he was like, "Not my limit is 20, is what he said. It's like, why? And I was like, what could you possibly have in common with a 20-year-old? He goes, "I don't need anything in common with her. I just want to eat her pussy." I just want to eat her pussy. Yeah. Like, that may be the most selfless thing I've heard anybody say in a long time.
What, like, to me, like it's weird. Like if my, and Amanda have talked about this, like if she was 16 and some 20-something-year-old dude was like talking to her, like, "No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're absolutely a fucking dead man."
Sure.
But if Judah's 16 and there's like a 25-year-old girl talking to him, I'm like, "Oh yeah, go and learn you something, buddy." Yeah. You go and get in there.
Like, she's going to teach you things.
You figure some shit out. Yeah.
Why is that? Because people say, well, that's a double standard.
I don't think it is.
Well, I mean, it is, but I think it's a healthy double standard.
No, on paper, it's a double standard.
Yeah, sure.
But when you start hashing it out for possible consequences, it's way less likely that negative consequences are come out of your son. Other than maybe knocking the girl up, which would be fucking terrible. But
sure.
But I mean, the pregnancy is the only equalizer between the two. But usually, if a girl's getting hit by a dude that's in his 20s, he's a predator, right? And he's
for sure.
And there's other hangups and other shit, usually abusive and whatever. If you're a fucking 16, 17-year-old boy, and because if it's a woman like in her late 30s or mid 30s, then yeah, that's a little more.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Yeah, but if she's like in her early 20s and maybe you're like, you don't look like you're fucking,
right.
Anyway, I think it has to do with fucking insertion, honestly. Like, because as a 16-year-old or as a boy, you're doing the fucking.
Yeah.
As a girl, you're getting fucked. And I think there's a difference between, wanting your son just as a male to conquer and do the fucking than your daughter who you've raised and protected to get fucked. So I think it's a different.
What does your wife think about that?
She disagrees with me as a whole, kind of the same thing, like sees it as being a double standard, but she also understands like my perspective on it. Yeah. And she doesn't disagree with that as much as also the thing is too, the emotional consequences, that type of thing, does to a 16-year-old girl is different than the emotional consequences that a 16-year-old boy would have.
Yeah.
And that's the main, like, I say that other shit too, but that's really the biggie. Cause if you fuck a girl, like you're still going to have whether you like it or not, it's emotional for either sex, boys or girls. But the emotional attachment that comes out of a dude fucking somebody is much, much, much different than a female that fucks somebody. And I think the devastation is just far, far less on a male, and that's I think part of it too.
Yeah, which is it's why I don't quite understand that outrage when you have like a mid-20s teacher fucking a 16 or 17-year-old at school. Like, it's absolutely an abuse of power. Don't get me wrong, it's not what I'm saying, but it's really not doing any damage to that boy. Yeah. If anything, it's boosting his confidence.
There were say otherwise, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
well, people say, well, a predator's a predator. I'm like, no.
Sure.
Like, because I can tell you right now, and people hate this and they say it's bullshit, but I was so awkward at 18 years old or 17 years old. Like, it would have fucked with my head a little bit, but I still would have been like,
you would have fallen in love.
Yeah, for sure.
And then she would have broke your heart.
Right, for sure. Absolutely. But I don't know. I think
but it would have saved you a divorce or two.
Right.
No, I just, it's one of those, like,
and it's honestly, when it comes down to it, it's honestly a little hard to articulate as a male. Like,
it is.
And because I can recognize that it's absolutely a double standard. But I think as a male, I can see why one is less harmful than the other.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can think like a guy in both instances.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's it too.
That's it. Yeah. And you know what guys are after. I mean,
right.
Any guy in his 20s is going after someone in their mid-teens.
It's because it's easy prey.
That's it. That's because you have nothing in common with them. You don't really want to hang out with them unless you're getting your dick sucked or something like that. I mean, They can't go out to a bar with you.
Yeah.
They can't. I mean, there's nothing. There's all they can do is fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So,
and I think the motivation between like a dude banging an older woman is it's a conquering thing. It's like, I can do this. Like my buddies are barely fucking getting hand jobs in the back seat of their shitty ass fucking Corollas. And I'm rolling up with this fucking hot ass 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're getting that shit on in the back seat of her fucking, you know, whatever.
Sure.
It's, I don't know. It's weird because dudes just want to have sex.
Yeah.
Women in general, and this is might sound sexist as fuck, but everybody is social and wants some kind of connection. But men are usually looking for a physical connection. Women are usually looking for an emotional connection. That's
why when it comes to cheating, it's more devastating for a woman if there's an emotional. A woman would be, in general, not all women, but in general, a woman would be way more devastated to find love letters that were written to another woman than to walk in on you pounding away. And a man's going to be the opposite in most cases.
Okay.
I'm just because for a man to stop and write that letter, there's an emotional connection. There's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. I got you there.
That's all. Again,
that's
a broad statement.
And it's the same reason. I think in the differences, and I've said this before, as far as people, just infidelity in general. Like usually, if a man's cheating, is because he's just wanting something physical. It's not necessary, and it can turn into an emotional thing. But usually, if a woman is cheating, it's straight up like because she's not being emotionally fulfilled. You know, where she's from. Again, not always, but as a blanket statement. And I think that's one reason. Again, the double standards there for sure. But if the dude's getting laid by an older woman, he's stoked because he's getting fucking laid. Not that he's ever going to get attachment, but if a young girl's getting banged by an older dude, she's being emotionally played. And there's a big fucking difference in those two things. Yeah. You know, so I don't know. But then again, as an older woman, I don't know why you'd want to fuck a younger dude because he's going to know nothing like how to do. And you're going to, maybe that's the thought of
short refractory period.
Yeah. And yeah, short refractory period for sure. But still, you can, it's like dudes that have really big dicks. Most of them can't really fuck that well because they got a big dick. They don't feel like they have to use it.
Speaking of big dick.
Okay.
Rumor on the street is, from the source, Andy Harris is way well endowed.
Good for him.
Good for him. I heard his fiance say on a different podcast, there are certain things they can't do because it hurts. Because he is quite large. So
good for him.
Why doesn't he have
any OnlyFans is my first question.
Well, my thing is, why doesn't he have that blue check mark? That was my question. I would put, my name's Andy Harris and I have a big dick.
Right.
But anyway.
Be a slogan.
Yeah.
I was happy with my comment on him earlier about her.
No, I saw that. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Or B3 Ferris with extra mayo. All right, we have somehow made it to an hour. Do you want to take a break?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break and come back because you said you had a couple news stories.
I do.
All right.
Democrats, you don't even do it. Amen. Liberal sissies. Listen, come on, guys. We're gonna try to attract people. We're gonna have some ideas and try to get them in and try to love people into the pews of the church. Is that Spencer Smith guy? Come on, guys. Don't be like that with your bad attitudes. Can I tell you today that's weird? Him. You're weird. I'm not weird. You're weird. Looking at me writing books saying, well, now, come on, guys. That kind of stuff, that beat 'em up personality, that overly aggressive, passive aggressive type pulpit mentality, pulpit ministry, that's not what people are looking for today. Doesn't matter what people are looking for today.
One of my favorite things about a lot of those fundamental Baptist preachers is how fucking childish they come across.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not weird. You're weird. Stupid motherfucker. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I think that's Spencer Smith is that guy's name.
It may be. One of the guys I played is Spencer Smith. I don't remember if that's him or not.
He's a giant.
He's rubbing your glue. Leave him alone.
Right. I'm not weird. You're weird.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Bless the Lord.
I don't know.
Have you watched? Okay, so because you pull a lot of stuff from that particular TikTok channel, I've had the self-control of not to go back and just watch shit, right? Because I like being surprised when you pull this stuff off. But I have watched a couple with the big fat guy who's one of the worst preachers that I've ever seen in my life.
He's the one that I've got that talks about slavery, the difference between American slavery and Roman slavery.
But he is such a bad preacher. Like the little bit about he's awful. And he's always stumbling around. Yeah. Fuck.
And I probably won't play a clip next week with the guys from the UK and Australia. Well, because it's not our show. It's it's not just our show. It's their show as well. Like it's for all of us. So yeah,
that's very sweet of you.
Yeah, I mean,
which means you'll have to like remember to let people talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I let people talk. I definitely I'm not going to just shut up, but I will let people talk.
Yeah, what I think though, you get going and you like to start, and this will be different. But like if somebody has us on their show, in the few times they have,
Yeah,
and we
I'm the
talk,
guest.
yeah. So you look as being the customer, like you get to do what the fuck you want because you're the guest.
Something's
you'll start
being requested of me.
Right. Well, because that doesn't matter. You'll start asking them questions. Is what I'm saying is this kind of, in a sense, take over the interview.
Sure, but you don't feel like that's kind of the same thing that happens with like people ask us questions about stuff. I feel like that's happened multiple times.
They've asked us questions back, but in a whole, we're still driving the interview. I think what you like to do, and I think you enjoy it, is seeing if you can not take over, but you can direct it where you want it to go.
I just think we're better at that than most people.
We may be, but I'm saying, but you enjoy. No, you're not.
I don't.
You're kind of kidding.
No, I am kidding about that. But I just, I like to talk to people.
I know,
and that's the thing. Like I will go and I'll go and I'll go, and especially if I've noticed it start to lull,
but
I'll just start filling space.
Right, but that's what I'm talking about, because that's not your job when you're the guest.
You're right. It's not, but. Part of being a guest on another podcast is hoping that we get some listeners, not that they leave them and come to us, but that we get listeners out of that. And I feel like if it's a boring podcast and we're the guest, then why is anyone going to listen to us?
Yeah, I got that. But I don't feel that way out. To me, I feel like they have their flow and their format, and I'll answer their questions to the best I can.
Sure.
But it's not my job to keep that conversation going like it is on this podcast. So if there's a fucking lull and they just stop talking, I don't give a shit. It's your podcast. You guys sound like the fucking retards, not us. Like that's how I
feel like it makes everyone sound that way, though.
See, I don't agree. Like to me, if you're not forthcoming, like if they're asking you questions and you're giving one word answers, or you're just not answering the question, or whatever the case, then I think that makes you a shitty and a boring guest. But if they're not prepped to ask questions, and again, like I'll fill in the sense of like we'll make a joke and we'll laugh, and I have no problem asking them questions.
Gotcha.
But with a lull in the conversation of the podcast, that's on them, not on me. Like I don't feel obligated to help them, I guess.
Sure.
Like my job is to be the guest and be as entertaining of a guest as I can, but ultimately it's their job to steer and drive the conversation.
I got you.
And I think we both have not a bad habit. We're both pretty good at giving like overly long answers for questions that get asked, especially when I start fucking ranting about shit. But anyway, I find it funny. Like when we've done interviews with other podcasts, and it doesn't annoy me. I just find it funny to watch when I feel like that you start steering shit where you want it to go because you think it's either lull or boring. And to spice it up a little bit, you try to move it where you think it'll be less boring.
I just feel like that's why people have us on, because we do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they want us on because they enjoy our format of the podcast and they just want to fucking talk to us. Not that they expect us to bring their podcast to their podcast. And I think that's where we differ in the perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I just know there's no conscious thought most of the time if I'm on someone else's.
Oh, I know, but I straight up watch it happen, and that's a wonderful thing to observe sometimes.
It's
now every now and then though I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, let them ask another question. But for the most part, I just sit back and enjoy the ride. But that's me in general. Like I don't like when we're on and we're doing shit. Like I put in what I need to put in. But as far as like when we're on somebody else's, like I have minimal responsibility, like even less than I do here. And so like, I just, it's on you guys. We'll talk about what you want, but you don't like it, fuck you.
Sure. Okay.
But you also have a general, like we both are narcissistic enough in a way to want, like we like the attention and people watching us and listening to us. But I think one of the big differences is God damn it. One of the big differences is between us is you care far more about the overall quality of the show. Whereas I care about audio wise, how it sounds, but the rest of it, for the most part, I give fuck all.
I got you.
Like, I don't want to have a shitty episode, but like, I don't worry about how good the episode is or if people listen to it or don't listen to it or whatever. That concerns you because you're a numbers guy. So you like those numbers much, much more than I do.
That's true.
Yeah. And but I enjoy more. Like CQ popped on earlier, said, big love from Puerto Rico, you sick, twisted fucks. That's what I like.
I like that too.
A little bit. I know. But you want all of it.
I do want all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my thing is like, it'd be nice to have all of it, but like I recognize the way that we do this show, we can't really advertise. And so any growth that's going to happen is going to come through.
We can't advertise.
I can't promote you. You have a much larger friend base than I do. You won't promote it on your personal page for obvious reasons. And I'll share shit on my Instagram page every now and then because nobody care about it. But again, I have the same like 50 people that follow me and everything, whatever. So point being, like, we really can't advertise outside of certain people in our friend groups. So that limits it to organic growth. And honestly, most of our content, we really can't pay promote on any of the
Yeah, you'd have to
episodes.
put some bleeps in there.
A lot of bleeps. Like
Yeah.
there are very few times we have had any clips without, and it's mostly on me. I get that. I absolutely get that. It's mostly me, because I say God damn it so much. And that's Amanda was talking to me. She was like, you sound, it's like a different person when you're on the podcast. I said, it's because I edit at home, even a little bit. And she was like, you feel like you have to be somebody else at home? I was like, no. I said, it's that I know that certain words offend you more than that. And they still slip from time to time.
Sure.
And I'm not worried about you like being offended or upset at me for certain, but it's because I respect you.
Sure.
And I know these things bother you, so I don't do them. And I said, plus it's like anybody else. You talk different around your lady friends than you do around me, because that's just how things are.
Right.
And granted, we're a little over the top on this.
I think they're just called friends, though.
Right.
But
yeah. But we're a little over the top, for sure on here. But in general, like the language that's used in the conversation is no different than if it's just me and you talking outside.
Sure.
Like the only time my language changes is depending on the crowd. And if it's people that I don't know, like I'll typically curb a little bit, at least the profanity, until I know that they're good with the profanity.
Sure.
But that's part of, like, as much as I hate a lot of Christian shit, if I know that somebody is a hardcore Christian that I'm around,
sure,
I try to edit myself just as a respect for them. Now, as soon as they decide they want to be a fucking preachy asshole cunt, then I'll bring the words out. I don't give a shit. But I at least give that baseline, until things changes. Like if we got David Clayton on here, which I still think he'll do it, I'll make a conscious effort not to cuss that much out of respect for him.
Gotcha.
It's not going to be it's going to happen, but I'm not going to just,
Now, if we had Spencer Smith on here, would you make a conscious effort not to cuss?
Who's Spencer Smith?
Isn't that the guy's name?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Him? No, fuck that guy.
You wouldn't just let him spout his
I would initially.
Okay.
Initially. And I'm going to,
as soon as he crosses, I get it. As soon as he crosses the line,
line,
for sure. But if he never crossed the line, he was just saying insane things, you would watch your language the whole time?
To a point.
Okay.
To a point. Because the thing is, I understand I can effectively communicate without the excessive profanity, but it just takes effort for me to not to. And I think if somebody's just being a complete fucking like outside the line cunt, it's going to come out a little bit more than it would like if we have Clayton on ever. Like he is such a good dude. Like he really is. And it's never going to be something that's going to make me want to well up and be like, fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because like even we had David Weiss on. Like, he was a respectful dude. He spouted some crazy shit, but it was never directed in calling us for anything.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's the difference, because he was respectful of us, even if we didn't agree with his viewpoints. I don't know, but there's certain viewpoints, man, that come out of like that dude's mouth. Like I would have a really, really hard time at the age that I am at now, just to be like, that's fucking insane. Like back that up. Like show me, like not with one verse, show me a consistent trend in the Bible where anything indicates what the fuck you're just saying.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. You can't. And that's what kills me about a lot of those fundamental Baptist guys, especially when they get off on their fucking 1611 King James bullshit being the only inspired word of God. Like, fuck you, man.
Inspired by who? King James?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, there's no logic behind it. That's the thing. It's all based on this one narrow-minded back, and there's never questioning of anything. And I feel like that's what's missing with a lot of, this is getting me on a whole fucking church rant. We need to be a church podcast. But have you heard the term, and we might have talked about this before, I don't remember, that's gotten really big with like these hipster kids, the deconstruction. Have we talked about that?
A little, I think.
You
and I have talked about it. I'm not sure if we did it here.
It comes out so much, and it pisses me off, because it's the whole, if you don't know what the deconstruction kids are, it's basically this whole group of ex-church goers like us that still don't know, they're questioning their faith. And so they're deconstructing it. But it's become this catchphrase. And they're these now as a bunch of pretentious, pious assholes that look down on people in the church as they do, whatever.
They do the same thing that they complain about people in the church doing.
Yeah, but
they complain the church looks down on all of them, but they do the same.
But the difference is they'll preach about the love of Jesus. And for them, it's basically, it's okay to cuss. It's okay to cuss, and we like gay people. That's the difference between them. And they still have this other deconstructed, bullshit. And I understand the concept behind it, but it becomes a catchphrase of almost a whole new fucking denomination of shitty ass Christians.
Well, it's like over the last 20 years or so, atheism has become its own religion, where you have actual, atheists out there proselytizing people.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's part of being an atheist is that none of it matters to you. Like, it's part of it. Like,
well, people though, and I get it, because they're so zealous in their beliefs that they feel like everybody should it's the best thing for everybody. So we need to hammer this into people, but it's the same mindset that fuckers like that have of instead of just letting people come to their own conclusions. Because I'm of the opinion that religion can be a good thing if it brings you peace and it helps you make sense of the world around you.
Sure.
That's great. That in concept, that is what religion is. It's a faith or a way of viewing things that helps you conceptualize and understand the fucking world.
Sure.
And give your life some kind of meaning.
I think I have figured out what our Patreon stuff can be.
Oh yeah.
We can do Sunday episodes where you're just basically preaching about stuff. You can just basically
we should start a cult.
Do your own thing. I saw your tweet
or
whatever, or Instagram story about a cult.
Yeah. Well,
here's the thing about it is here's why we can't start a cult. Neither of us really want to walk around in front of that many people shirtless. And only one of us plays guitar.
Right. So, okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't know, man. Any time that somebody is so entrenched in something, they feel obligated to beat somebody over the fucking head with it. It's insanity to me.
No, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
And my thing with with especially people like that, and there's no, like, they're not willing to even consider that they could be wrong. They're so entrenched in that belief that there's not even to me, part of growing and being a better person is to constantly question what you believe and what you're doing. And because that helps you stay unbiased and self-aware and all this other stuff. And if you can, at the end of a self-evaluation, so to speak, come to the same conclusions, cool, carry on. But you should check in with yourself. And like the fucking King James being the only inspired word of God bullshit. Like if you are willing to take a logical look at it and figure out that, hey, the translation methods in that day were fucking trash. And then you also had that dictated by whatever. And even if you go back to the core belief of the Septuagint and all these things that they've singled out and that they have multiple copies of over the years that are consistent, but your translation methods and understanding of that language are just better over time. And so the thought that a modern translation is less accurate than one that was done in fucking the 16 goddamned hundreds is fucking insanity to me.
No, I agree.
And that's like saying that we shouldn't use fucking Mac computers because like Windows computers sold better in fucking 1994. Right. It's like, so Windows is the only fucking thing you can ever use. Like, that makes no fucking sense. Right. There are so much better iterations of even fucking Windows. Or I still use fucking Commodore 64s because that predated both Windows and Macs, and that's the only computer that I'll fucking use. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't understand.
We used a Commodore 64 at my mom's house when I was 17 years old. We were using a Commodore 64.
Well, it's because it's the only inspired personal computer.
I guess so.
Or I will only play Atari because every entry after that is just sacrilege.
Sure.
It's like, no, there are way fucking better games. That are way better because, people know more.
Right. No, whatever.
But that's the whole Christian, like, resistance to science that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because in my brain, they can still fucking coexist. Like the concept of spirituality, because we have great scientific minds, great scientific theories. And we've talked about, I think, the difference between like when most people say theory and scientific theory are two very fucking different types of theory. Right. But there's provable methods that they've come to, or at least the most logical conclusions to the shit we know. But they're still discovering new things all the time that prove things they currently know wrong. And that's the great thing about fucking science. Is the whole point is to explain things and then attempt to prove those things wrong to get a better understanding of other shit. But because nobody's around at certain point in times, we can take these elements and make a logical conclusion out of the technology we have to understand those things and say, okay, this is most likely how shit went down. But back far enough, there's still no way to completely, we have, that's why there's constantly digging into that shit. But like, to me, like evolution and creationism they're not completely separate things. Like, why couldn't you have like something created that evolved into X, Y, and Z out of millennia? The only thing I can't get on board with is a 6,000 year Earth. Fuck that shit. That's crazy talk. Yeah. But my sister does. I found out. I think I mentioned this.
Yeah, we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
It's like fucking recorded history goes back 5,000 years. That's stupid. Yeah. Anyway, but I didn't think about this, but a lot of Christian creationists believe that basically because man was created, they were born, or he was created talking and having a written language. It's like, okay, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Like, if you believe in that, sure. But then why doesn't text exist from that point forward? I don't
no
know.
paper.
No paper, right?
Yeah.
Parchment,
Yeah.
tablets.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's fucking. But the whole spiritual sector absolutely intrigues me too. Like the whole occult, and like you had one of the most powerful like world leaders at the time with fucking Hitler that was obsessed with the occult and had full on quests for like the Holy Grail and all this other shit. I'm like, was he crazy and evil? Fuck yes. But it's interesting to me with someone in that position has such a belief in that shit. They send people out to look for it. And we've had in the US with, some of the declassified files, we've gone on some crazy fucking shit, like, in researching mind control and all kinds of other, like, we really call it supernatural or not, but other fucking things like that. It's crazy to me,
Right.
Because there's so much unknown to claim that there's none of this or there's none of this. I mean, that's, to me, to be a scientist and believe in the scientific method, but still deny any possibility outside of the physical is fucking insane to me, because we don't have the technology to measure certain elements of that. Like there's, a point in time that medicine or germs were fucking magic. It was, that's why they're, oh, you have bad blood. Let me bleed this out of you and you'll make new blood and then you won't be sick anymore. It's like, that's not fucking how infections work.
Right.
Is that what that meme is? One of my favorites is you got ghosts in your blood. Let's go do cocaine about it. Type of shit. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done with that rant now, but God damn it.
Maybe I need to save these clips and do them less often than every week.
I like you're just sitting there like nodding your head. Like,
no, because like you're saying shit I've heard you say before.
I know.
And I agree with you.
But it always comes back up.
I know.
It regurgitates.
That's why I said maybe I need to do that clip once a month, not every week.
Maybe.
Because then we spend the first 18 minutes of the second half.
It's your segment, bitch.
That's why I'm updating the segment. Oh my God. So you said you had a news story or two.
I do. I have a couple of them.
So I do too, and I'll be interested to see if you have the same story.
I had one. You already have shit connected to Bluetooth on here because there's a video clip with it that's amazing. But I'm not going to worry about it.
You can use this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is a news story. And this is a nurse's attempt. And this is from the 9th. So it's a few days older. But it's a nurse's attempt to prove vaccines make people nurses attempt to prove vaccines make people magnetic backfires. So an anti-vaccine Ohio nurse attempted on Tuesday to prove that COVID-19 vaccines make people magnetic, but she failed to stick the landing. Registered nurse Joanna Overholt, testifying before the Ohio House Health Committee about what she said were potential coronavirus vaccine dangers, tried to use her own body as proof. Overholt said she heard during lunch the vaccine's called magnetism in humans, so she decided to prove her point by attempting to show how a bobby pin and a key would stick to her exposed skin. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Explain to me why the key sticks to me. It sticks to my neck too. So if somebody could explain this, that would be great. And the non-magnetic aluminum key she tried to use fell off her neck as soon as she removed her hand.
Right.
I think that's amazing. And there's
I saw a guy on TikTok the other day that had done that, like had the vaccine and then was sticking a magnet to his skin and it was sticking there. And somebody commented was like, all right, now rub baby powder on your shoulder.
Right.
Try it. And it didn't work.
Exactly.
Right. But kudos to the guy for actually following through and doing it.
Yeah.
But
yes, vaccines do harm people. By the way, so I just found out something when I was on lunch and I wanted to show it to you. We were talking about Dr. Tenpenny's testimony about magnetic vaccine crystals. So this is what I found out. So I have a key and a bobby pin here. Explain to me why the key sticks to me. It sticks to my neck too. Yeah, so if somebody can explain this, that would be great. Any questions?
Yeah.
Jesus.
She keeps trying in case you're not watching. Or
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. No, I know you are, but people are listening.
Explain to me why the key sticks to me.
It's so wonderful.
It sticks to my neck too.
Yeah. Anyway. So that's one. What do you think about that?
I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
Yeah. It just amazes me that she's testifying, in a very public government forum.
Right.
And she's entering this new information that she overheard on her lunch break.
Sure.
The stupidity of people is constantly amazing to me. All right. Number 2. Explosive diarrhea causes NBC's Ultimate Slip and Slide to pause production.
Really?
At least one crew member for the Wet and Wild upcoming series tested positive for Giardia. Is that how you say it? The intestinal thing. NBC has indefinitely paused production of its upcoming competition show, Ultimate Slip and Slide, reportedly after multiple people on set came down with diarrhea. The Wrap reported Thursday that up to 40 crew members fell violently ill, citing a person with knowledge on the production. That person said people were collapsing and being forced to run to porta potties due to awful explosive diarrhea.
That's pretty good.
Also cited an anonymous source close to production saying multiple people were ill with gastrointestinal symptoms. Gastrointestinal. Spokesperson for NBC did not immediately respond to requests for comment from HuffPost. However, people confirmed that a shutdown began June 2nd, and at least one crew member tested positive for whatever fucking virus that was.
Good Lord.
So wouldn't that be some shit? Literally, like if you were trying out, or like, I finally made this game show, I'm going to have my big shot. And then just, like, I picture that it first broke maybe with the crew, but in my mind, I like to think of somebody just left a big old fucking streak down the slide.
Right. Or they hit the water and just all of a sudden. Did you ever see that video several years ago of like, it's like a group of people in a hot tub. They all look pretty young, like early 20s or whatever. Just like hanging out, partying in a hot tub. And that's like hot tub. And there's like this one guy and these two girls, and there's another girl over there. And like everybody's having a good time, but there's just one girl. And all of a sudden she just goes like, you just see her grab her stomach. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this cloud in the hot tub just goes, and everybody's just falling over themselves to get out. And she's so embarrassed, and she's trying to say sorry, but she can't stop shitting. And it just continues to get bigger and bigger. So
at that point though, do you commit and stay in the water and just finish shitting?
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
You're already in the water. You're already shitting in the water.
And I think just at that point too, I just take the bottoms off and like use the water to clean up a little bit. Probably. And then, go get in the shower.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. And I think you commit at that point. You lean into it. It's like,
I don't know if it's lean into it, but to me, that just makes the most logical sense.
Well, it makes the most logical sense.
You've already shit in the hot tub.
But this is going to be an ordeal, like with your friends and whatever later. So you might as well at that point just lean into it and accept it then. But
look at me, I'm Shitty Rick.
But not everybody's brain work. And I understand.
No, I get it. But for me, I can imagine that my maybe my brain would, maybe it wouldn't work that way. But
do you think
to me,
that
the most I don't know. I mean, I think you and I tend to try to think logically in most of those situations, and it makes logical sense to continue shitting in the hot tub.
No, but I mean, at that point, do you call attention to it just to break the awkwardness and own up to the things that just happened for the joke?
I think my reaction might be, well, I'm shitting in the hot tub. Like that might be my reaction to everyone. Like, you guys might want to get out of here because I've started shitting.
Yeah, or throw it out at anybody else having a shitty night. Some stupid
something
thing
like that.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. You've got to lean into it, because otherwise it's going to become a mockery for the rest of your life. You've got to own it.
Yeah. I told you guys I had a fetish.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like the other day, and this isn't like that, but I mean, as far as leaning into a joke is when I talked to Troy and Trevor on the podcast, I said, it's always good to get a little bit of Saturday BBC.
Right.
And one of them said, you've told that, there's like, well, you can stop telling that joke now or something like that. It got kind of quiet. And I was like, oh no, I will now never stop using that joke. And we'll talk about you guys as dicks every single time I call it. I'm going to lean into it. It flopped and they kind of called it out. I don't know if they had somebody else on there or not, but regardless, I'm owning that. Like, okay. Yeah. So now anytime we have them on, I'm going to mention their fucking dicks.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I refuse to just be, to flop like that.
Refuse to be shut down by a minority.
No, I refuse to be shut down by anybody.
Oh, okay.
God damn it. Well, we've talked about that, about even telling our kids that, like, if you tell a joke and it's fucking awkward and bombs, fucking lean into the joke. Yeah. Like use the awkward or the uncomfortable to your advantage.
Sure. That's literally every episode of The Office.
Right. Well, to me, though, that saves you personal humiliation, because some people get really embarrassed if they try to make a joke and it just fucking gets quiet. And then they're like, no, just fucking push it a little further. Yeah. You want to make everybody else uncomfortable so you can feel better about yourself. Right. That's ultimately what it boils down to. Now all of you feel uncomfortable and I don't. So this is a win-win for me.
So I've got a story here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's a modern day Jonah. You heard about this? A Massachusetts man had a whale of a tale to tell Friday, though it's one plenty of people thought was more of a fishtail. Anyway, Cape Cod commercial lobster diver Michael Packard. Let's see here. Diving off the coast in New England. Where's his quote here? Packard was in about 45 feet of water, and he said, I just felt this truck hit me and everything just went dark, he said. At first, he thought he'd been eaten by a white shark. We will be in the library having a white cake. The feared sharks have become fixtures off the coast of Cape Cod in the summer. Then he realized it didn't have teeth. He said, oh my God, I'm in the mouth of a whale. His crewmate, Josiah Mayo.
Hold on just a second. That's a very calm man.
It's
like at first like, oh,
well,
fuck.
This is after the fact. He's telling the story.
Right. But I mean, him telling the story is like in the moment, he was like, oh, I'm being eaten by a shark. And then like, oh, fuck, there's no teeth. I'm being swallowed by a whale.
Yeah, he's from that general area up there. He's probably freaking out. Like, this is wicked scary, bro. No. So his crewmate, Josiah Mayo, was driving the boat and followed him on his dive. It was a huge splash and kind of thrashing around, said Mayo. I saw Michael kind of pop up within the mess and the whale disappeared. Honestly, we all kind of thought, okay, this is far-fetched, but then we got word from the injured gentleman. We realized it was an actual incident. Said this was coming from the harbor master. Said he didn't believe it at first when hearing about the incident. What it's like inside a whale. Packard said he'd been faced with immediate struggle in the hard, shaking mouth of the whale as his breathing regulator came out of his mouth, and he had to find it. Then, as the seconds ticked by, Packard thought, this is how you're going to die, in the mouth of a whale. He didn't know if he would be swallowed or suffocate, he said, and he thought about his 12 and 16-year-old sons, his wife, his mother, and his family. I was just struggling, but I knew this was this massive creature, that there was no way I was going to bust myself out of here, he recalled. Then he said suddenly he saw light, felt the whale shaking its head, and was thrown out of the water. Wow. I was just laying on the surface floating and saw his tail, and he went back down, and I was like, oh my God, I got out of that. I survived.
So he didn't get swallowed by a whale.
And see, that's what I said. My wife was reading me this story on the way back from vacation yesterday, and I said, wow, someone was swallowed.
It's still very unlikely.
It's crazy.
But yeah.
Right, it's crazy. But and I said, oh, because the first thing I asked was he swallowed or did he get sucked into the mouth of the whale one? I mean, because those things eat whatever's around. They open their mouth and it just creates a vacuum and pulls it in. Is that what happened to him? And then he was spat out?
Yeah.
Or did he actually get swallowed?
Right.
And then did he cut himself out? How did he get back out?
In likelihood, neither. But
very likely. His mother said, what a way to become a celebrity, huh?
Jesus.
Do whales ever eat people? Charles Stormy Mayo, a senior scientist and whale expert at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown, told the Cape Cod Times that such human whale encounters are rare. Mm-hmm. If somebody lies directly in the path of a lunge-feeding humpback whale, the whale might not always be able to detect it or avoid it in time, he said. For example, some entanglements in fishing gear begin this way and can threaten the life of the whale.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's that story, but
yeah, call me after you've been in there 40 days and 40 nights, and we'll talk
for sure. And you get spit out on another shore somewhere,
right,
and then go and preach the gospel.
Yeah.
So this is from the New York Post. It says Cape Cod lobsterman's whale of a tale sounds fishy, experts say.
So this is the same story, same story,
from
different article.
Yes, from experts' perspective.
Right.
At least one doctor at the Cape Cod hospital that treated the lobsterman, who claims he was nearly swallowed by a humpback, expressed skepticism Saturday to the Post about the whale of a tale. He reportedly ascended from a 45-foot depth in 20 to 40 seconds and didn't have any evidence of barotrauma. A person traumatized by such an encounter should expect more serious injuries, such as hearing loss because of the sudden change in water pressure from that depth, noted the physician, who did not treat him after his brush with the Leviathan. Ooh,
no,
biblical.
it's a sea monster.
Let's see here.
But dinosaurs didn't exist. They're just made up to throw people off of God's creation.
People who are in the fishing industry and people who know whales are finding this hard to believe. A Bay State lobsterman who has fished the area for 44 years told the Post it's a first ever that this would happen.
Yeah. When you were a kid, did you ever imagine it'd be fucking sweet to get blown out of a blowhole and like shoot way up in the sky? out of a whale.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you could lay on top of one and then blow. And
I always thought that was cool. To, like,
or if you
the
could like
coolest thing
stick your
ever.
dick in one.
Right.
And yeah, for sure. But
I wonder if anybody's ever tried to fuck a whale in its blowhole.
you know, someone has tried to.
I know
somebody
for a
at
fact
SeaWorld
there's
has done
some
that.
woman she worked with dolphins. Fuck, I gotta remember. I gotta look
dolphins
at
rape people all the time.
Yeah, but no, she was fired because she was trying to have sex with the dolphin that she
doesn't
created
surprise
a
me.
fucking emotional connection to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
dolphins
doesn't
rape the
surprise me.
fuck out of people.
Yeah.
And eat each other. Like,
or anything.
Yeah.
Who was it? So
the rapists of the sea.
there's a lady comedian, otherwise known as Comedian, that was talking about she liked sea lions. She's like, I really like sea lions. Like, I think they're cute or whatever. And that somebody like tweeted back and it was like, just so you know, sea lions rape baby otters. Okay. So.
Oh shit.
What?
I don't want to interrupt. This is an article from last year.
News?
No, it's from last year.
Okay.
Women admit she had sex with a dolphin as part of NASA-funded scientific study.
Is that what that movie was about?
Maybe. Anyway, and the opening line is Margaret Ho Lovett had loved animals since she was a little girl. It's the opening line to the article.
Just call her a hoe right up there in public.
Right. Yep. Anyway, I found that interesting. I was looking up her name because I know that some lady supposedly had sex with dolphins, but they can't even find the clit.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe the bottlenose ones can.
But I bet if they ever did find it, did they vibrate the shit out of that?
Fuck yeah.
Let's see here. Racism in basketball.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving wanted his return to Boston to be focused on strictly basketball. It most certainly was not. A Boston Celtics fan was arrested and banned from the Garden. Let's see here. From the TD Garden Arena for life after throwing a water bottle at Irving's head as the Brooklyn Nets star was excited. Jesus Christ, I can't read or talk tonight. Was exiting the arena following the Nets' Game 4 victory on Sunday. Now, this is well over a week ago. Nets players, members of the crowd, were able to identify the man, 21-year-old Cole Buckley, who has been charged with one account of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
Okay.
For a water bottle. Irving left Boston for Brooklyn after the 2019 season, enraging Celtics fans, and blah, 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 blah. Games 3 and 4 in Boston were Irving's first games at the Garden with fans in attendance since leaving for the Nets and free agency. Before Game 3, Irving hoped he wasn't the target of any subtle racism from the fans, sparking a conversation around Boston's alleged history of racism when it comes to athletes. Okay. After the game, Irving continued to allude to racism being a factor in the way visiting players are treated by fans in Boston. You're seeing a lot of old ways come up, Irving said. It's been that way in history in terms of entertainment, performers, and sports for a long period of time, and just underlying racism and just treating people like they're in a human zoo, throwing stuff at people, saying things. There's a certain point where it gets to be too much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fans got to grow up at some point, Kevin Durant said. Anyway.
Okay.
So I feel like it's absolutely racism in Boston. There's absolutely racism. I mean, racist people that are sports fans and things like that.
Yeah.
I just think if you left a team though, and the fans hate you for it, probably not really racism that caused a bottle to be thrown at you. That's the thing. Yeah. Probably not.
Now, I will say at a lot of games from Boston and New York as well. I mean, they'll scream the most racist shit in the world just because they hate the other teams so much.
It's just interesting because, I mean, that's interesting. For one thing, the South gets labeled as the racist part of the country, but I've been to lots of other parts of the country, just as many fucking racists in those areas as well. The United States gets talked about as like we've got the market cornered on racism. But I think it was Spain. Their soccer team was playing another team, and there was a black player on the other team. Yeah. And when the black player came out onto the field, the entire group of fans for Spain's team threw bananas on the field and made monkey sounds.
Yeah.
I don't know
if that just like last year.
It's been within the last 10 years, I'll just say, just to say. But I don't recall there ever being a sporting event, at least not in modern time, where anything like that happened in the US.
Yeah. I'd say South Africa has a pretty good hold on the racist side too. But yeah, I don't know with shit like that. And maybe I should, but I don't fucking care because these guys are making so much fucking money.
Sure.
And not that excuses racism,
it does.
But I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. And also because I'm also like super fucked up and callous towards the universe.
Sure.
But like, if I'm making fucking millions of dollars, like, you can call me what the fuck you want. Like, go eat a dick. I don't give a shit.
Sure.
Like, you can throw water bottles at me. Fuck
I
you.
just think I do, but I'm also not one of those people that thinks that just because you're a celebrity, an athlete, or whatever means that you should be allowed to be treated or anyway. It's just like paparazzi climbing up on the walls around someone's house and taking photos.
I agree.
Like, there's too many people that say, "Yeah, well, you signed up for that when you became a celebrity." Not that. When you leave your property and you're out in public, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
it sucks to have people take pictures of you all the time, but that's part of being a celebrity. But the rest of it's not.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm not saying like any celebrities deserve it or
but
whatever.
you're not a little bit different. Like, you say whatever you want to me. I mean, hell, Michael Jackson had some crazy shit said about him, and all that did was make him play better and play harder, make you hate him more. But I don't know. I just feel like racism thrown out there for so many things that there's a much more logical
and not even just logical though. I mean, I think a lot of shit like that is very multi-layered, and that might have played into it because you don't know what he yelled or what the fans were saying or what the fuck ever else. Because as far as racial slurs are concerned, like Boston, New York are notorious for that shit. Absolutely notorious. But most of it, I mean, it's obviously on the surface level racism, but a lot of it is coming out of a place of like, I'm going to say the meanest shit I can to you, to fuck with you, to throw off your game, to hurt your feelings, whatever the fuck it might be. So whether it's something you actually believe or not, the point of saying it is to achieve a purpose. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of that mindset comes from.
I agree.
Which on the surface, absolutely is racism. But when you start digging down into it, that person might be super racist, or they might just really like trying to hurt other people. You know what I mean? So you never know. Never know.
Let's see here. What else have I got?
Yeah,
go ahead.
No,
you're fixing to say something while this is pulling up.
I feel like it would be a better conversation with other people on. I'm going to save it.
All right. Waiting on that BBC.
No, I just feel like having another person besides you and I to chime in, because it's nothing you would disagree with or spur any type of conversation.
Sure.
It'd be like, yeah, I agree. Or I see that. Be one of those things.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. I have a couple things in the chamber that I want to talk about with other folks at some point.
Okay. Have you written them down?
No.
You gonna remember them?
I remembered one of them just now.
Yeah, but you didn't need to remember it now.
I know.
The thing. You're under no pressure right now.
That's true. I probably won't, but it doesn't matter because none of this matters.
I can't find. I had a section marked and it's not marked anymore, so I'll skip that one right now.
And actually, I do have a question for you after. Like, we can do another one, but about something we talked about offline.
Go ahead, because we can end on this last thing I've got here, because it's your favorite.
Oh, it's a BuzzFeed list.
It is, but it's not like it's not like millennials do this, but exennials do this. I fucking hate BuzzFeed. Yeah, I know you do,
and that's why you do it to me.
It is, but I figured I would at least extend half an olive branch and not do one like I normally do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I have a question, and this is something we were talking about off mic, and it's not going into any personal details, but there's something you said that stuck with my brain because I've actually talked to somebody about this recently too.
Okay.
And you use the term legacy, like something about feeding into your legacy. And I didn't realize that you had any type of perspective or desire for that. And I find it really interesting that people want to leave some kind of legacy behind, like specifically that word. Why?
I want to be remembered, but that's been a thing for as long as I can remember.
Right.
I want to be remembered for something.
Okay.
And I want my all right. So like my dad,
I guess my question is why? Why do you want that?
So maybe it's selfish.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. Like it's not been ingrained into me by anyone. It's just something that's like imprinted on me.
Because that's a very male thing.
It is
the whole desire to have a legacy.
Sure.
And I've always,
so my legacy, what we were talking about was not so much mine as much more of it's mine and my wife.
No, I understand that for sure. And that's why I'm not, because the details behind it don't matter. It's the concept of leaving a legacy that it kind of fascinates me to a point because it's something I don't understand.
Sure. I got it.
Because being a moderately a nihilist, really, that, I mean, you'll be remembered for maybe a couple, maybe 3 generations, but 100 years from now, nobody's going to know or give a fuck unless they get super into ancestry.com and they're like, oh, my great-great-grandfather fucking Joey Manning did blah, 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 blah. But outside of that.
Sure, but there are definitely people that have left, quote, a legacy that will be remembered for hundreds of years.
Very few.
Very few, yes.
Very few.
But there are the ones. I mean,
so do you strive for that?
I'm
And
not
I'm not
really
making fun of
striving
you.
for-
This is a
no, I
legitimate
get it. No, I
question.
get
Yeah,
it. I get it. I wouldn't say I'm striving that because I don't know. I don't have a time frame. Like I want to be remembered for at least 100 years or
yeah. Right.
whatever.
No. But I mean, are you striving for a
I'll put it
long-lasting
like
legacy?
this. I'll put it like this. And maybe this will, but here's an example. My dad and stepmom started a business 28 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was 12. Started a business with nothing.
Right.
They went to go get a loan from the bank, and my grandfather stopped my dad and said, if you take a loan from the bank, I will not be happy for you going to take a loan. Do not owe the bank anything to start your business. Let me give you a $20,000 loan. Pay me back when you can, whatever. And so he basically gave my grandfather 10% of the business for that.
White privilege.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But anyway, and in 7 months, he made the money back and paid my grandfather off. And then my grandfather didn't want to own 10% of the business. Right. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have to ever wonder if your business is doing well.
Right.
And am I going to make anything?
And you gave him my money back. So
yes. Yeah. Right. So anyway, but my dad spent 28 years building this business up to a very successful business.
Right.
Very, very successful. Makes lots of money, although he doesn't quite live like he does. But anyway, and that is something that this came up on vacation that I said to my parents, I said, I think I speak for all of the siblings to say that we're very proud of what you guys did with this business. Like you had nothing. You both quit your jobs because you believed you could do this, and you did it. Yeah. And then when times got tough, and it sounds like I'm making it political, but it's not. But during the Obama years, my dad was making aerospace parts, and Obama shut a lot of that shit down. Yeah. And that hurt like fucking hell for that business. Right. But they did it anyway and made it through or whatever. And so that's one of those things, like, and my kids know that story because I've told my kids, like, yeah, well, your granddad did. I mean, this is they had nothing and they built this business and worked their ass off for it. I mean, I saw him work on vacation. Yeah. I mean, so anyway, he gives people jobs that are in need of a job or whatever, and not just whatever. Anyway. Yeah. And so there's part of me that's like, I want my kids to remember me for something like that. But there's lots of things I want them to remember me as a fair person. I want them to remember me as a funny person. Right. You know, I want them to remember that I was somebody they could always come to and say whatever they thought, and I wasn't going to judge them like whatever.
Yeah, but I guess I'll go ahead.
It is important to me. And like I said, I have nothing to trace it back to where I don't remember when I started feeling this way, because I don't remember not ever feeling this way. But I want to be remembered for something good like that. Right. Positive memories. Not that, well, my dad was an asshole that didn't like new people.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what do you consider a legacy to be?
Lots of things.
Right. Well, because to me, a legacy by concept is like, it comes out of legend, right? It's this huge thing that carries forward into generations and generations, not just something your kids benefit from. Sure. But it's used lousely, right? It's used like, hey, I want to be remembered for accomplishing something valuable, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that I become a multimillionaire or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. I want to leave something behind, whether it's tangible or just words of wisdom or whatever it is that my kids can be proud of, and that they would tell their kids about if I never meet my grandkids or whatever.
Right. Okay.
But that's it. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. See, to me, like, if I had to define, like, I should say define, like, if I was going to pick to have a legacy, it would just be that my kids aren't pieces of shit. Like, that's it. That's
sure. And that could be part of it, you know?
Yeah. But I think to be a legacy, that's just successful as being a parent.
It is, but I think, but it is leaving a legacy. I mean, because if your kids, if you raise your kids to not be pieces of shit, it's more likely that their kids will not be pieces. Not guaranteed, but it's more likely.
I guess I don't consider that to be a legacy, though. So
it's part of it. It's a legacy. It's not just what most people think of as a legacy.
Yeah, I guess so. But I find that interesting. That
it's something that's very important to me.
Yeah, and
sure.
I kind of know, like, but never defined, right? Sure. But I know you well enough to I find that so interesting. I really do, because when I think of legacy, I think of people like fucking Einstein, like Steve Jobs, like fucking
Steve Jobs is who I was thinking of when I said people will be remembered for hundreds of years.
Stephen Hawking, you know, whatever. Like there's people that, but if you think about the people like you hear about in history books,
sure,
like it's a minutia, like a 0.0001% of the population that leaves that kind of legacy.
Absolutely.
But that's what I associate with the word legacy. And I understand there's various levels, various forms of all that shit. It's like, we always joke, like the likelihood of one of our kids actually making a lasting impact on the world is fucking slim to none.
Yeah.
As much as all human beings would like to think that your kid could be the next fucking whatever, chances are now your kid's just going to work a fucking job, maybe be successful, maybe not, but they're never going to really contribute in a large way to society.
Probably not.
Right. No, and I'm saying, but that's in what my brain immediately goes to when I think legacy. But you're right. It's multifaceted.
Yep.
But it's interesting to me because that's one of those things. Well, a lot of things are interesting to me, but it's one of the things that never crosses my mind in any way, shape, fashion, or form.
It's like
as far as what I'll leave behind.
For 10 or 20 years, I've wanted a house big enough that if a friend or family member got down on their luck, they could live there while they got back on their feet.
Right.
Even if there was an extra kitchen and they could kind of be to themselves, they didn't have to be right on top of
right.
each
And
other.
you've accomplished that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Well, you have.
I get it, but this is not the size of the house that I was talking about, like 10 bedrooms. And
no, I
understand.
Like I understand that.
Massive
but that's becoming a multimillionaire at that point.
It is, but sure, if none of my kids lived here, I actually do have a section of the house that can be closed off where someone could live and not have to see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, my long-term goal basically boils down to be able to fucking move out of the goddamn country and not have to be here anymore.
My wife and I've talked about that.
We're planning on it.
Having a maybe a little cabana bar on the beach.
No, we're fully planning on, like, as soon as the last one is 18, moving the fuck out of the country, 100%. So that's next 10 years.
Yeah, good luck.
That's the plan.
If the country will let you move out of it
at that point in time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot can happen in a decade, but for all intents and purposes, we should be at that point in 10 years. And I plan on selling everything and never fucking coming back, except for, maybe visa runs. But the goal is to establish residency in another country.
Sure.
And not fucking be here anymore.
I mean, it sounds, on paper, it sounds great. I don't know how realistic things like that are, but I know you can do, people do it.
Depending on where you go. There's a few countries. And our big debate has been, do we go European? Do we go Asian? Right? Because European has a lot more familiarity as far as culture goes.
Why not go like South American or something so that your money goes a lot farther?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Well, there are certain places in Europe that they do. Like there's rural Italy. Your money can go so fucking far. And the cost of living is
Italy's on the euro,
lower.
right?
What's that?
In Italy on the euro?
I think so.
Yeah, the dollar's not worth as much as the euro.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But cost of living in American dollars is still less.
Okay.
Like you can get for American dollars, you can get a house in rural, like near the beach, a tiny little village in Italy for fucking $400 or $500 a month for a mortgage, on which my VA would cover that. You know what I mean? So
I got you.
There are options.
Really, your VA will cover buying a house in another country?
Oh, absolutely.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, but the goal is to be able to pay cash for it. So
absolutely. Yeah, I get that.
But but I want someplace that's comfortable and moderately safe. And South America is anything but that for the most part. Like the places that we've looked at have been like rural Italy or France. Italy is probably the easiest as far as getting into. Greece is awesome and expensive, but there's a lot of hurdles. Like you really can't get residency there. You can get whatever visa, but so the appeal there is food, culture, much easier to learn language, if to be immersed in, and a lot of familiarity as far as just what's around you. Culture's different, but not so much that it'd be a huge culture shock to be in.
Sure.
The other option is like fucking Asia. Still got amazing beaches like fucking Vietnam, for instance, where you can get like a literal fucking compound for next to nothing. Pennies on a dollar because their money's not worth shit. But it's a whole different culture and life and all this other shit. And Europe, you can travel fucking Eurail all over the fucking place. You're, hop, skip, and a jump away from a ton of shit. Asia's a whole different fucking ball game. Like you're in Vietnam, you can hit up Tibet, maybe India, some shit, but that's going to be about it. Because it's so goddamn expensive to fly in and out.
We talked about Panama.
Yeah.
Because there's a need for English speaking people there and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. And you got options and incentives for all kinds of different places. But really anywhere that minimal minimal pressure changes where you're not gonna fucking back doesn't hurt all the goddamn time. Amanda doesn't have migraines. All that sounds pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Because Knoxville's one of the worst places in the United States for fucking migraines.
For allergies in general.
Yeah. Like, well, even I'm talking migraines specifically. It's one of the worst places in the US because of all the pressure changes coming up on the mountains and shit.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so yeah, you got something to take us out. You said
I do. People are sharing the small things that make work environments feel less hostile towards women.
Okay.
If you weren't aware, equality in the workplace is still an issue. Upside down smiley face. Recently, a Reddit user decided to highlight some possible solutions to the gender divide by asking people to share the small things that make a workplace more inclusive to women. Here are the top rated responses. The temperature in the office must be suitable for everybody.
Oh, fuck that.
Very often, women and their
Fuck
health suffer
that.
because the temperature in offices is set to accommodate the male body.
No, fuck that. Fuck that 100%. You know fucking why? You can always put more goddamn clothes off. You can't take, or more on. You can't take more clothes off.
That's why I
fuck
prefer,
that in the
that's why I
asshole.
prefer winter to summer.
Right. But that's the thing. Like, to me, you have to, in that instance, the goal is overall comfort for employees. And what it boils down to is a lot of women don't feel like, well, I shouldn't have to fucking wear a cardigan in the fucking summertime. You know what? God damn it. Yes, you might have to, because it's way more miserable to be overheated somewhere than it is to be able to put on a fucking jacket and be warmer. So fuck them.
People that are cold natured will tell you that it's not more miserable. They'll tell you absolutely no, it's way more miserable to be cold.
Yeah.
I disagree, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's number one. Number two.
You asshole.
I'm in billing for engineering. My office stairs are see-through, so folks wearing dresses to go upstairs have to be clever about how they do it. Non-see-through stairs would be nice.
Okay.
I can agree with that for sure. You can also take the elevator. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that one, I get that one. That one makes sense. And that's just a weird architectural or design option that they took probably to be trendy or to look modern without the thought of that being a thing. Yeah. Okay. Get that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No argument there.
A period products dispenser in the women's bathroom is always welcome.
Yep.
We have those at work. Cost you $0.25.
They should be free.
We had a guy at work. Our building is mirror image of each other when you go down the center. He was used to working on one side. You go in, you go to the men's bathroom. You go in around the corner, you go to the left.
Yeah.
Other side, you go in around the corner, you go to the right. Right. He's working on the side he doesn't normally work on. He goes in, rounds the corner, goes to the left into the women's bathroom, uses the bathroom. He comes out and he goes, guys, there's something in there that costs $0.25, and I don't know what it is. Like, does anyone have $0.25?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, yeah, here. And he goes in the bathroom, and this guy was an idiot. Anyway.
Obviously.
He goes in the bathroom, he puts it in, he does whatever. I don't know what the machine looks like. Pulls the handle. I don't know. Slot machine. What is it? I don't know.
Usually a turn thing.
I don't know. Someone shake your hand.
Yeah.
This thing comes out. He comes out back out on the floor, and he's like, they're selling tampons. And he's just waving around, yelling that they're selling tampons in the bathroom.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, see that I'm mixed on, because I understand the value of giving them away, just for free, because you don't charge for toilet paper, you don't charge for other shit.
Sure.
But on the flip side, it's like there also have people that are just going to steal them and take them the fuck home, and it's a lot easier to steal tampons and pads than it is to steal fucking rolls of toilet paper.
Sure.
But anyway, I see the validity of
everyone gets the toilet paper though. That's equal. That's everyone gets
that.
But anyway.
But men don't. Yeah. Anyway.
I got you. Number 4. Bins for tampons and pads by the toilets that preferably are also soundproofed and not right next to someone's office.
Okay. So the bins are soundproofed?
I don't know. I don't know.
So the soundproof thing is stupid and bullshit, because everybody drops some massive fucking shits. So unless you soundproof all the bathrooms, fuck it. The bins next to the some type of
something next to the
bathroom,
toilet.
that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. How loud are you throwing stuff in the garbage can?
Well, I don't think they're talking about throwing shit away. I think they're talking about making women comfortable by taking loud shits, and then having the bin is just something you can.
Oh, that's not what it said. The bins for tampons and pads by the toilet that are preferably are also soundproofed and not right next to someone's office. The bathroom not right next to someone's office. So I read that as that the bin is soundproof, so when you throw something in, it doesn't go like boom when it hits the bottom or whatever.
Sense,
I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. Number 5, if there's a dress code, make it universal. Same rules for all. I can get on.
Okay.
I get on board for that.
Sure.
Number 6, ceasing to treat women like informal secretaries would make a difference. No, Cassie doesn't have to write the protocol to the meeting, nor should Jenny be responsible for organizing the team building or office party.
See, I feel like that's going to be different from business to business, because there's a few places I've worked I've never seen that towards a woman. Well, she'll do that.
Yeah.
I've seen women volunteer for that shit excessively, more so than men volunteer for that shit.
I have seen that.
But, and I think some of that's just looking to go the extra mile to prove themselves or what the fuck ever else. But I've never seen in the places I've worked, somebody throwing that type of shit because they're a woman. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I'm sure it does in certain instances, but I've never seen that.
Yeah. I mean,
But also
our-
you see a lot more women in HR and
Sure.
different things like that, which,
I mean, our person at work that would be taking meeting minutes or whatever at work is a guy. So
Yeah.
that's
party planning committee.
Yeah, party planning committee. Honor Things Club. Make it easier for women to take sick time for reproductive health issues. I've dealt with fibroids for years now, and it would be nice if I felt comfortable enough on my worst days to take time off to rest.
Nope.
Why?
Fuck you.
Why?
Everybody has sick days. You use them for what the fuck you want.
No, I agree with that. You all have to. I mean, like, it doesn't matter.
No, you want equality. You
I'm
don't get
bleeding
special,
out of my asshole.
right. You don't get
take a
special
sick
treatment
day.
for because I get maternity leave because the toll that takes on your body is whatever.
Sure.
But outside of that, nah, you want fucking equality. You all get this. You have 10 sick days like I have 10 sick days. You use them how you fucking need them.
Yeah. And I think okay. Number 8. If someone is talking.
No, hold on. Let me say one more thing on that.
Go ahead.
I don't think anyone should have to take sick leave if like you break your fucking arm. Like you can choose whether either to use vacation days or go without pay. Right. But I don't think it should be a penalty for what the fuck ever.
But if you're going to be out for an extended period of time, that's where lots of people have short-term disability and stuff like that.
No, I heavily how do you feel about it? Heavily disagree with giving special sick leaves for women or for any particular group for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah. I'm down with not doing that.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
I think it is too. I mean, that's not equality.
Exactly. And again, maternity leave makes all the sense in the world to me. But otherwise, any other women's issues you have, like you're wanting to be in the workplace full time, you can't expect it to be catered to you.
Yeah.
Just like if I don't know, it's and I get it structured for men and women have different health issues than men do, but you're running a business, and so it has to be available, and you need your employees to be there. That's just how the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And Amanda and I have talked about this a lot, and it sucks for women a lot of times where they have to choose between a career and kids. Because their husbands are the main breadwinner or whatever, how the fuck you want to look at it. But the fact of the matter is you make that choice. Like you could, if you have the money, you can absolutely be a career woman and have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, it's one or the other. And maybe it's not fair they have to make the choice, but you're the one that's producing the fucking kids in your stomach. And if you have a husband that's willing to be a stay-at-home dad while you work, great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a decision that you make. It's not
a decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
If someone is if someone is talking down to your coworkers or employees for being women, defend them.
Okay.
I've never experienced anyone talking down to someone for being a woman.
Yeah, there's condescending fucks. We were just talking about that aside, but that's across the board. And I'd absolutely call somebody out for that shit. And again, I think a lot of this is anecdotal, people that have seen something in their specific place of work. But,
well, also that the little phrase in there, for being women, is the thing. Yeah. I think I'd venture to say most people, when they see someone being talked down to, woman or man, it's for something else. It's not because of their gender.
Right.
I mean, that's not to say that never happens.
Yeah. And I feel like that there is, again, it depends on the industry. It depends on the air. There's a lot of variables. That's why I say I think a lot of this is coming very anecdotally, because I don't feel like the vast majority of companies have that culture anymore. There are some that absolutely do. But I don't feel like
those are mostly small local businesses.
Yeah, I would say so. Because a lot of times in the current corporate culture, like in your company, if somebody was called out and talking down to a woman, they'd be fucking gone in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
That's just how it rolls. And I think like maybe in construction, like, because I can remember we had this one girl that worked with us. She was a field tech and she was out of New York and she worked with, unions and shit. Yeah. And she got treated like shit most of the time. Now she was mean as fuck and wouldn't put up with it. But she did a lot, but it was mostly in like blue collar or like, not Fortune 500 fucking businesses.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not harder for women to get promoted, but I think a lot of times in those, like the higher end companies, women are harder on women than they are because, to get to a certain point, you have to be perceived as a bitch because people take advantage of it because they view women inherently as weaker, which isn't true, but that's the viewpoint. And I feel like a lot of it's kind of like if you're sick, like if you have cancer or if you have a mental illness, like me having bipolar disorder, or whatever, I tend inherently to look down on people that don't handle it the same way or as well as I do. Right. Because there's this like, well, I can or people that they aren't bipolar. I'm like, I'm bipolar. I can handle this shit. What the fuck's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like there's that automatic condescension that I have to be conscious of because like I'm dealing with this shit and I'm handling it better than you.
Sure.
And I feel like that comes a lot from women that are there. It's like, well, I've achieved this, this, and this, so I don't want to hear your fucking excuse. You know. Anyway, go ahead.
Number 9, please, no required heels or makeup. I've never once worked anywhere that required you to wear makeup or to wear heels.
Yeah.
That sounds like
I've been in a few places that banned wearing any type of scents. Like women couldn't wear cologne or perfume, but they don't let men wear cologne either.
Sure.
Now, granted, men's deodorants and shit can be a lot stronger scented than women's, but yeah, I've been that because people have allergies and shit like that.
Yeah,
that's one thing I told this lady one time. She was like, "I always have to come in and smell your smoke." I was like, "Well, I have to smell your shitty ass perfume, and those chemicals are just as bad as my chemicals. So fuck yourself."
Right. I know. And your scent doesn't help me get through the day without killing you.
Yeah.
No. We had a guy that used to come into work every morning after working out, and he would go and take a horse bath at the sink and then coat his body with Axe body spray. And finally they had to say, "Hey man, you got to dial it back a little."
Yeah. Ladies, if you're out there, listen closely to this. If you're in the dating world and you meet a guy that's over, I'm going to say 25, just to give a little leeway, and still wears Axe body spray, he's a fucking cunt. He's a douche. Run for the fucking hills. That should be a major red flag for any woman dating a man over 25 that still wears Axe body spray.
And maybe the red flag is that he's too poor to afford real cologne. I don't know.
No. See, the other giant fucking red flag is anybody that's a grown man that insists on keeping their tennis shoes sparkling fucking white, that wears solid white tennis shoes.
Gotcha.
They're a douchebag automatically.
You think so? You don't think they just like nice things?
No. If you're that concerned about,
all right.
If you're that concerned about and obsessive about how your shoes look, you have other fucking hangups, and you're going to be a fucking tool. Guarantee you. Almost universally.
All your shoes, or just your tennis shoes that you wear?
White tennis shoes. If you wear bright white tennis shoes and expect them to be fucking immaculate all the time, you got other issues. You're going to be a douche.
But if I wear Pride Month tennis shoes and I don't want them getting dirty, what's that?
What? I'm talking about year round. You're talking about if you wear them year round?
Sure.
Or just for Pride Month?
No, I'm just saying like they're super colorful, so they're not white. Is it? But that they're white, or that they don't want them dirty?
It's the draw. No, it's the draw of the sparkling white shoes.
Okay, I got you.
And more so, and I don't care how fucking racist it sounds, black dudes with white shoes tends to be more of a cultural thing. I'm talking about like white dudes with sparkling white shoes, like the guys, because white people inherently, like, we steal so much black culture, like a lot of hip hop culture, fucking all that shit, and we take it all the time and incorporate it into whatever the fuck we want to do, because really black people are crazy innovators of style and culture in what we do. But yeah, I'm talking specifically about like a mid-20s whatever white dude with fucking white shoes to take care of it is a major fucking douche. Gotcha. Red flag, fucking run.
Okay. Let's see here. Number 10, fewer women in power, putting down the rest of us and acting like snakes. This is not a competition, and we don't want your place.
What I just said. That's what I just said.
Okay. We just want to get our coin without feeling the need to cry over a toxic environment other women create. We are in this together. It's already hard to live in a man's world. Why do some women feel the need to make it harder?
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. And that's one thing I've noticed a lot is like, the want of equality, but I see more women being held back by women.
That's that's kind of what I was alluding to.
I see that.
Earlier.
I should say I see that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think it's part of it's the same thing of sometimes it's the same thing. Like you said, you're dealing with bipolar, and if you can handle this, why can't you handle this? And a woman immediately goes, "Well, if I can make it through, why couldn't you?" Or why?
Well, I think there's this double standard too of like, well, this is how I made it here. So if you're not doing this, you're not going to make it. But women are mean as fuck to each other, whereas dudes like will, like if you have a problem with another guy, you might be an asshole. You guys might, fucking, mouth off or whatever the fuck it is, but you don't go out of your way usually to passive aggressively make somebody else's life fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And women will do that consistently to each other if they don't like another woman.
Yeah.
And granted, more and more dudes are passive aggressive as fuck too, but I'm just saying, like, usually it'll come to a point where you have words. But I think that's a huge issue is successful women, like just treating other women that aren't as successful like fucking shit.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, whereas a dude might in a higher ranking position might not even give a woman a chance. I feel like a lot of high profile women expect unrealistic things from other women because maybe that's the shit they had to deal with.
Yeah.
And I'm speculating. Obviously, I don't have a vagina.
Number 11, during meetings, have a way of ensuring that people who have something to contribute will be heard when they do so. It happens far too often that a woman or a new team member is cut off partway through expressing something, only for a male senior or male coworker to say the same thing later and get all the credit for it.
Okay.
Number 12, bigger toilets for women. Normally in workplaces, both toilets occupy an equal area. The thing is, women need more space and time on the toilet since we often have to deal with periods.
Okay.
I don't understand how the size of the toilet makes a difference as far as that goes. But
I think they
mean,
I think they mean space reserved for toilets, like more of them.
Okay. I just see bigger toilets is the first thing.
Maybe
so
that too, but
anyway.
whatever.
Number 13, a pumping room with a soft, comfortable chair and easily accessible electrical outlets. Better yet, this is the one that gets me. Better yet, on-site childcare who will bring you your baby.
Nope.
Who will bring your baby to you a few times a day to breastfeed.
No. Fuck no. Fuck you. You're an entitled fucking cunt. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Okay.
That is ridiculous, man.
I think it is too.
I understand having a pump room where you can go in private. Like, it doesn't have to be like this padded, comfortable thing, but because I don't think there should be an issue with you fucking breastfeeding out in the fucking open. I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't either.
Like, I get some businesses, whatever, but like, I don't have an issue with that. And I don't mind saying, oh, I need some privacy. So let's have a space set up where women can go fucking pump. But I draw the line at fucking free healthcare and bringing you your fucking kid. No. Because what if I'm a single dad? I want them to bring me my kid every now and then so I can feed them their fucking. No, fuck you. You have a job to do.
Yes.
You're here getting paid to do a goddamn job. Go fuck yourself. Go home and be a fucking mom or come here and work. Right. You don't get fucking both.
Right.
Fuck you.
And
that's not specifically towards women. That's towards anybody.
Yes. Sure.
Anybody.
Number 14, don't assign a woman the social tasks of the office unless she volunteers to.
Okay.
Not every woman wants to keep track of birthdays, bridal showers, or baby showers.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way,
don't assign anyone that task.
Going back to
that's part of their job.
Yeah, a new guy or a new person. Because that's the thing. They said a new person or a woman, somebody talking down to them or not listening to their ideas, cutting them off and using the same idea later. Fucking welcome to being the new person to fucking work. Maybe that happens a lot with women. I don't know. I know as a new guy anywhere, you have to fucking prove yourself.
Yes.
And you might have a great idea, but senior dudes that have fucking been in the roadie for a while are going to fucking shut you down. That's just how the fucking is. Like, you have to earn your fucking value before you're listened to.
It's almost earning the right to speak up and say something.
And I get that it's frustrating, especially when somebody else takes steal, whatever the fuck you want to look at it, or has the same idea later. Like, that's frustrating as shit, but you have to prove your fucking value anywhere you go before like you can expect to receive equal treatment. And by equal treatment, I don't mean basic rights in the workplace. I mean like as a peer in the fucking workplace.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Number 15, ask everyone, ideally through an anonymous survey, what they would like to see make the office more inclusive. Sometimes individual offices have things you wouldn't see on a standard list.
Okay. That's fairly common, actually.
Number 16, eliminate sexist jokes from the workplace. Stop saying periods are disgusting and inappropriate when you're a 35-year-old male supervisor.
Okay. Here's the thing. That's part of sexual harassment training 101 these days.
Sure.
Like, it's jokes, which you can and can't make, and keeping certain opinions to your fucking self. Here's the thing. Periods are normal. They don't gross me out, but periods are inherently fucking gross.
Yes.
Like sex is inherently fucking gross.
Sure.
You got fluids coming out of holes and fucking mixing together. Sex smells fucking terrible. Like, there's like, in the moment, it's fine. But you walk in a room after somebody just fucked and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is gross.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross. It's like you and I, maybe not as fat as we were, are still fucking kind of fat. I think you'd probably look like a disgusting fuck ass naked. I wouldn't fuck you. I mean, I would, but but I mean, those are facts. But in a workplace, I wouldn't look at you and be like, oh, you disgusting fuck. Like, I get it that there's probably, but I don't think in any workplace now, and again, anecdotal, it probably happens, but I don't see any place right now that it's considered acceptable for your boss to be like, oh, you have your period? That's fucking gross.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I'm sure it does.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part.
Yeah. Number 17, the best thing to make a workplace inclusive is openness about inequality in regard to pay.
Okay.
And finally, be actively inclusive of women in your space. I work in STEM and am often the only woman on the team.
Okay.
I am by default not included in informal, social, team building things like grabbing lunch together, getting a drink after work, etc.
Okay.
Um,
That's not a workplace issue.
when someone doesn't look like the rest of you, it's important to actively include them. Yeah, it's not going out to lunch together and going to grab a drink after work is not a team building activity unless your boss or your team lead or whatever says,
Yep.
let's all go have lunch together or have a drink together.
That's just feeling left out. And that sucks, but it's not a workplace issue.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in an environment and there's somebody at work I don't like, I'm not inviting them to shit. Or if I don't have anything in common with them, like if you and I were shared an office, and maybe a couple of dudes, and there was some fucking girl there that I didn't like, I'm not inviting her to do shit.
Right.
Not even out of obligation, because I don't fucking care.
Right.
But again, work function, I'm organizing an office get together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unacceptable to not invite them.
All right.
People don't get that shit. So let me ask you a question. And this is, I know we're running over right now, but as far as the equality thing goes, like I'm talking about pay equality specifically, how do you feel about openly discussing salaries and pay scales in the workplace?
Doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah. But do you think it's a pro or a con?
I can definitely see where there could be issues between people.
Because traditionally it's frowned upon to talk about the money that you make.
I've worked at companies that will tell you you're not allowed to, and you could lose your job for it.
Right.
Now, having talked to a lawyer about it,
no,
they can't fire you for that.
No.
Now, Tennessee is a right to work state. They can fire you for without reason.
Do you know what? No. Actually, did you know that's not the same thing? There's a right to work state and there's another term, and they get used interchangeably. All a right to work state actually means is you have a right to work without being part of a union. That's all it means.
Sure. Whatever it is.
Employment at will. That's what Tennessee is.
Got you.
Yeah.
So regardless, they can let you go for any reason or no reason. It doesn't matter. But
if you countersue, like the burden has to prove that they didn't prove.
Absolutely. That's true.
Discrimination.
But anyway, I mean, I don't have a problem. If anyone I work with says, how much do you make? I will almost every time tell you exactly how much I make, because it doesn't matter. I also know that on my team, I'm one of the lowest paid people.
Yeah. Well, like mine depends too on is.
Now I know you had this instance come up before.
Yeah. Like have a conversation about money comes up, and I know if it's somebody that could potentially fucking quit that we need, that because they found out how much money I was making versus them,
sure,
I'll lie my ass off. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because some of salary too is knowing your value and what you were able to negotiate for in the position you were in when you took the job. Like if you needed the job when you took it, you're more likely to take a lower amount than if you didn't necessarily need the job and just wanted it.
Right.
And there's luck. There's a few different things. And I feel like, because the thing is about the pay gap, quote unquote, is it's absolutely valid in higher ranking positions, but across the board, it's pretty equal.
Sure.
Right. And that's where that comes from, because it's a very skewed number.
I agree.
It's kind of like the concept of, police violence against black people, right? Per capita, because of the percentage, it's much, much, much higher. But based on the actual numbers, far more unarmed white people get killed than unarmed black people. That's that's the numbers. Mm-hmm. But there's way, way more white people than it comes in a higher.
But even when you really start to break that down, it is still a higher percentage.
Right.
Yeah.
Just not as public.
That's it.
But and usually for different reasons.
Absolutely.
Because what I was talking to Amanda about actually was the systemic racism in me is the reason that the event starts. Mm-hmm. Right? Like more white people might get killed, or unarmed black or white men might get killed, but they're doing some crazy fucking shit. A lot of times with the black guys getting killed, it starts as something they shouldn't have been getting fucking pulled over for to begin with.
Yes.
So the targeting is indiscriminate, or is much more targeted on black people.
Yes, the incident is higher. The outcome is
right.
Is higher for the white people, but the incident is higher for the black.
Right. People. Because of what it's, the reasons for it. Because anyway, that's a whole different thing. I don't remember where the fuck I was going with that, but anyway, as far as pay goes, and I feel like that a lot of times, and it's getting better, but at the higher ranking positions, women want to move up to that glass ceiling, right? They want to move up the ranks. So they'll get an offer for, let's say at a higher ranking position, they get an offer for 85 or say 80K, right? And this dude's coming along and in a separate company, the same type of position, He's like, nah. And she gets the offer. It's like, fuck, it's a chance for me to get this position. I'll take the 80. Whereas this motherfucker, this dude's like, nah, I need 85.
Right.
And they're going to be like, well, the position only says 80. It's like, yeah, but I'm bringing this, and this to the table, because the perception is there that we're much more confident in that arena.
Well, that also happens within guys, depending on where you're at as well. I mean, that's happened to me recently. I would have taken a job for 95 grand, and this other guy ended up getting it, but he said, no, I'm going to need 150.
Right.
And they took him. I mean, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, then that happens. I mean, there's a lot of it is gambling, and a lot of it's strategy. I mean, there's all I hate negotiating for salary. I would rather have a company say this position always pays this much money. You want it or not. That would be my preference, but that's not how shit
for
works.
us, we have pay ranges of each pay grade.
Right.
And it's based on experience, education, how high up you are in your current pay grade. Because if you're the top of your current pay grade, well, that may be the middle of the next pay grade.
Right.
So naturally, you're going to be a little more to the higher end.
But see, in my mind, I'd like it to be like, this job starts here, ends here. This job starts where this one ends and goes here.
I would like
it's a logical progression.
It is. That's very hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
It's very hard to do.
It is. But anyway, I feel like that men, and this is completely anecdotal. I haven't read studies on it, but my feeling is that men probably negotiate harder on their salaries than women do, because they're still in the mindset of moving up and gaining that position, whereas it's been available to us for fucking decades. And
would you like to debate the pay wage gap with someone?
I'm talking about your sister specifically?
I'm talking about anyone. Would you like to debate that with
I'd like to discuss it. I'm not educated enough to do a proper debate, but I mean, I have, a lot of anecdotal shit that I've seen, and I mean, I could pull some stats or what the fucker, but so could they. But that's the thing about statistics, and we've had this argument once or twice, but I really feel like your viewpoint can be backed up by almost any set of statistics based on the viewpoint you're taking on them. The numbers are hard, but you can interpret them multiple ways. And I know you disagree with that.
I think in some instances that's true, but in most instances it's not.
Well, I guess my point is, like, you can't debate the actual numbers, but because people are inherently emotional, you can spin the meaning of those numbers to suit your argument.
You can, and that's where I'm saying that's where their argument is flawed.
Right.
That's the point I'm making. If you can be intellectually honest, and take your emotion out of it, there's nothing where there's numbers involved is up for debate.
Right.
So now you can debate whether we should do things to make those numbers change.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah. But like, for instance, right, to say, so there's a 25%, let's just say, and I don't know what the numbers are, 25% fucking pay gap between men and women.
Yep.
So then you look at it and say, okay, well, is there a 25% pay gap in this industry? Well, no. Is there one in this industry? Well, no. Is there in this industry? Well, no. What about this one? Yes, but it's only that one. But there's enough people in that industry, or enough money in that industry, that it covers the average of all of the rest. So then saying that there's 25% pay gap,
you got to look at per capita.
Right. Well, then 25% pay gap isn't a fucking accurate statement, even though that number's correct when you average it out. It's really only applies to this fucking industry. Because say at Target, you can't pay a woman less than you pay a man, because it's a minimum wage position. It's you make $8.25 an hour. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are. But when you start getting into a corporate position, when you're salaried and there's negotiations, then that varies. And then you have to look at what are the fucking reasons behind that pay gap.
Well, there's a lot of things that don't get considered by some people, by a lot of people, and that's other benefits that go along with genders and but I don't know, whatever.
Well, that's sexist though.
Not really.
I know. I'm just
men
saying.
Don't get maternity leave. We get if the company I work for, a man, if he and his partner, wife, former girlfriend have a kid together, he gets 2 weeks paid paternity leave.
Yeah, paternity.
She gets a massive amount of maternity leave.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. And people don't want to have that discussion, that when you start factoring in some of those other things, but then well, you have to have a kid to enjoy that benefit. You do, but it's still there.
Sure.
And then you start averaging in, like, and I don't know all the numbers, right? You start averaging in, like, overall healthcare costs over the life of his employee. Is it higher for women? Is it lower for women? And I'm sure there's people that have done these studies. I'm just, there's variables. There's always fucking variables. And there's the human variable that we might have the same job. You might be more qualified, but I'm willing to take less money to fucking do it. And depending on the company and the situation, I'll get that job over you.
Yeah.
And I'm losing out on fucking money that I could probably have made, but I'm willing to take the job because I want the fucking job.
Yeah.
So,
oh well.
Anyway, and let's not even talk about porn. Jesus.
Oh, for sure.
Then you got like a 75% pay gap on the side of women, you know?
Yeah, really.
Anyway, I'm fucking done. This is.
Are you? Because you're the one that I've packed my shit up and everything, and you're still talking.
Well, I went on a rant. That
I know,
goddamn list. That's why you did it, you fucking asshole.
I didn't do it for you to go on a rant. I just did it because I thought it was timely.
It was timely, and it's interesting, and I would love to talk about. I'll talk about this shit with anybody.
Yeah. All right.
Because I'm open to have, like, Amanda legitimately has changed my mind. I shouldn't say changed my mind, but has swayed my opinion on a lot of issues in regards to that shit. The stuff I was like, nah, that's stupid. And then she'll talk and like, okay, I understand, because I didn't understand the validity behind the argument, because you only see what you see.
Yeah.
Type of shit. But anyway, let's get the fuck out of here.
Remember, guys, next week, our stream and everything is on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And we will be on with three other, be us two and three other people from 3 other countries.
Yep.
So, Sweden, new parents in Sweden. What?
Are entitled to 480 days of leave at 80% of the normal pay. That's why the fuck I want to move out of the United States, Will.
Sweden is unique in that dads also get 90 paid paternity days of those 480 reserved just for them.
Yep.
May 5, 2020.
I'm gonna marry a man from Sweden one day.
Good research.
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry Christian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna steal him from his wife.
All right.
All right.
Remember, next week, 7 a.m. Eastern.
And it's gonna be a fucking rad fucking show.
I think so.
I think it's gonna be really
we may
good.
not even take a break in the middle. But anyway, until next time.
I might take a break in the middle and just let you guys talk.
That's fine.
All right.
Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at B3F Podcast and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. Send us your questions or comments to bfff.podcast@gmail.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen to the show. And as always, thanks for listening.